Yo, check your mic. Let's test these levels.
Check, 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 check.
Okay, word. We got the sound. Let me know when the break's coming in.
Nah, there's no break. I'm just gonna go straight through.
Alright, kick that shit.
Heaven sent, I can prove this. Any crowd, turn me up loud. KR will move this. Long before Eazy-E, this MC, he was ruthless. Kicking rhymes, spitting rhymes, written rhyme, freestyle. I do's this. Who's this? You don't know me, homie. I'm the one and only. I turn your tool into a toll. Tell you you owe me. You ain't gotta go to the past to know me, homie. I'm KRS-ONE. My power is now. Eckertoli. These rappers are bony and lonely. I'll catch them coming out of Shoney's. I don't Oscar or admire, they baloney. No phony. I spit for the time from the mind. So when I spit off the head, of course I'm ahead of my time. Yes, I'm better with rhyme, and it's evident I'm the lyrically benevolent kind. This you never gon' find. I'm spitting plenty medleys. This is work, not a job. Rappers are crying like a boss in reverse. They solve. That's when they get robbed and disappointed. They not anointed, get them set up like an appointment. I spit the same heat you like to joint with. Fire, spit the truth, no liar. Heaven sent, this is higher. The mic cooks, I write books. The heavyweight champion. The song becomes a knockout with the right hook. I'm raw, meaning not cooked. These fake rappers heads are down, cause in the face of KRS, they do not look. 40 cal style, rap-a-pum like big drums. When I heat up the club to 420, it's done. Light up the cheech with the chung. I teach when I come. Knowledge reign is supreme. What these rappers speaking is dumb. It's a treat when I come. I'm not what you used to. I'm the return of Khufu all over these tracks like choo-choo. I'm the guru. So when my teaching premieres, it's gangstar. Hitting you and your man in the same car. These whack rappers, fuck who they are. KRS is like a hooligan. Hitting them all with the same bars. Hooligans hitting them with the same bars. Your whack style just ain't ours. Venus to Mars. I'm teaching with bars, spitting these bars, but youngins under 21 can't even get into these bars. So I don't blame them if they not seeing these bars. Cause when I hit them with my universe, all they seeing is stars. Speaking of bars, when I spit one, you can see it's all about impact over an income. The big one, multi-directional and exceptional. 10 of my first 20 albums are all collectibles. You feel the heat when I'm next to you, truly legendary. Underground, undetectable, and revolutionary. Most of what's going on today, you know we knew already. I tried to teach our people, but poverty, it took too many. It shook too many. We can see what a curse is. So I re-emerge to show these youngins who the first is. The minister, frying rap chickens like churches. And the worst is seeing your temperature taken by nurses. IV bags, your family picking out hearses. It's like you at the Barclays Center, you won't survive these verses. Sprite means spirit, so I obey what my thirst is. The whole planet, so-called Earth, is what my turf is.
Hold up. Yo, I got this. Yo, this is about to be fire. Levels is on point. You sound good out here. Let's get this project started.
That's right. Let's get this project started. This project is called the Temple of Hip Hop. And welcome to another exciting Sunday. Of course, I'm in another hotel here. Big up to G Simone. Out this one obviously here. Big up to Jay Best in the building, wherever you are. Professor A. Well, shout my dude.
Yeah, come on. Jay Best, Professor AD, holding the temple down out here, taking us around, getting us to where we need to be.
No doubt.
Very helpful. We got the calendar on the way. I'll show that a little bit later. Shout out to...
No, wait a minute. I need that.
Oh, yeah.
I need that. Yo, big up to the Temple of Hip Hop. Shout out to everyone who is participating in the building of our culture. It is absolutely amazing. And Desire One, your name comes to my mind. God One, your name comes to mind. The calendar was brilliant. I did see it. It was wonderful. I'm trying to figure out now, how do you distribute this? What do you do to market this? It's a brilliant situation. Take my place and show them the calendar.
All right, so this is the exclusive right here, hot off the presses. Shout out to Professor AD for getting it manifested in the physical. But here we are, Temple of Hip Hop 2022 calendar. This is exclusive.
Bang!
Right here, the divine performance.
Start you off. This is the realness. Take a look. Hit him with another one. Oh, know thyself. Desire, you on fire.
Straight up and down. The real hip hop is over here. You already know. So I'm saying this is something to be very, very proud about, and it's fresh. Y'all see it.
This is fresh. I want my 20 out already.
Straight up. Love awareness and wealth, April.
You need this at the top of the year. You need this.
Hip Hop Appreciation Week for May. Y'all know what it is. Every third week. Victory over the streets. June. Hitting them. The inner city, July. I am hip hop, August. Nine Elements, breaking MC and graffiti art, DJing, beatboxes, street fashion, street language, street knowledge, street entrepreneurialism. You know what it is. Hip hop culture is more than music. You got to know. And Hip Hop History Month, right there at the end. November. Rap is something we do. Hip hop is something we live. And then it begins again. We got a nice little extra joint of the Temple of Hip Hop. Rap is something we do. Hip hop is something we live. A nice dope spot on the back for you to tag your name. Put it up there. This is dope. And it has pretty much a lot of the participants of our culture of hip hop's elements and their birthdays throughout the year, and obviously that'll grow. The more this becomes more popular, people start submitting. It's not that we didn't leave people out on purpose. It's just everybody is in, or once we get into the other elements as far as graph breaking and all the above, this will really grow. But obviously we went with the most known pioneers and historical dates in hip hop. So this is the first edition. So this is going to be a collector's item. Hopefully we'll have the information by next week of how to get this, how to order it, and have your own. So shout out to everybody involved in that. Peace and much love to you.
That was crazy. Absolute craziness. That was a wonderful situation right there. And wonderful at the top of the year. You know what? I am going to need some water. And I walked in here without it. We got it at the in the other room.
7-Eleven?
Yeah.
Just text them.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, word. Because she might be hemmed up. Wow. And so I'll just put a period on this last piece that the calendar at the top of the year is a major achievement. And here's why. Because timing is everything. Timing is everything. And those of you that have been with us for a while, you may have heard me speak about the mysticalness of the calendar. That the calendar is not just, dates and, a month and a week. Each box of a calendar is like a grid over your life. And if you use the calendar properly, you could make things happen in your life by affirming these boxes. And it's a practice that you should get into at an early age or just start right now. It's not overnight, but you have to practice this. That, like right now, it's Sunday, okay? And there'll be a Wednesday, okay? So Wednesday's not here yet, but on the calendar, it is.
You have Wednesday right in front of you, right there. On a written piece of paper, there's a Wednesday. Now you can manipulate that Wednesday to manifest into your real Wednesday, what the factual Wednesday that is happening around you, that's going to happen in maybe 4 days or so. That Wednesday, 3 days or so. So that Wednesday happens there, but you have that Wednesday now. And if you learn how to use the calendar properly, you can manipulate on Sunday what's going to happen on Wednesday, because you actually have Wednesday in your physical possession. Wednesday is in your physical possession, but it's not here yet. So you could plan right in there. Health, love, awareness, and wealth will appear for me on this day, or continue for me on this day. New revelation will come to me on this day. Unexpected opportunities will come to me this day. You could write that into your Wednesday and be shocked when it actually happens. Look at my G. And this is why I'm so excited about this, because I've been living this for 30 years. No, this is it. I've been doing this one for 30 years. I know it works. Ain't no faith here. This is science. We keep doing this over and over and over again. These experiments keep happening over and over and over again. We can repeat this, okay? We can measure this, all right? And what are we measuring? We're measuring how long it takes for you to create your own reality. These things are possible, people. And I'm hoping that my presence before you is alerting you to that fact. Always remember, you're looking at a homeless guy from Brooklyn. You're looking at a high school dropout. You're looking at someone who they say, I'm not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to have made it. You're not supposed to have done nothing, okay? You was doomed. My whole generation was called Generation X. You know what I'm saying? They X'd us off. We were done. And many of us were. The 70s, 80s was no joke. But some of us had this divine knowledge. And I say some of us, I'm not the only one. Others had it as well. Lived beautiful lives, even though it was immense poverty, crime, corruption, racism. I mean, come on, it was all there. But with the power of your mind, there's nothing more powerful than that. Nothing. No government, no policies, no religions, no sciences. Nothing is more powerful and important than your mind, and you using your mind. So this is what the Temple of Hip Hop is all about. Behind me, you see Garvey. A people without knowledge of its past is like a tree without roots. And this is so real. This is so real. And the reason I refer to Garvey as well is because he only spoke about the mind. People think, not think, but people know of Garvey as a Pan-Africanist in the early 1900s, 1920s, 30s, Jamaican, educated man came forward. Disciples of Booker T. Washington, another name you should know something about. Martin R. Delaney before that. These are Black revolutionaries talking back to Africa. And a lot of Africans in America didn't want to hear that. They was like, no, our stake is here in America. That was Frederick Douglass. That's the likes of Dr. King. Great leaders of integration at higher levels of society. But these dudes over here, these dudes over here, they had a different plan. Their plan was Black nationalism, Pan-Africanism, basically independence and Black sovereignty. And both are right. I mean, I'm not going to go through this whole thing. We got a lot to read today. But just explaining to you my environment around coming off that calendar. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. But just Garvey, whenever you get a chance, just look him up real quick and refresh your memory. as to what this is. No matter what race you are, no matter what background, whatever, just check Garvey out and check out what he was talking about, and not the rhetoric about Africa. That's the surface stuff. Garvey was a Pan-Africanist. He said, you know, we black Africa for Africans. Actually, Martin R. Delaney said that, but you know, Garvey was pushing that message: Africa for Africans. We you know, free Africa, all this type of stuff. So, well, okay. So I mentioned that on the Garvey side, but he talks about the mind. That's my point. Garvey is always talking about the lifting of your mind. And in fact, you see, you're making me dwell on this now. Bob Marley has a song called Redemption Song. He says, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Ooh. And then it goes on. But that line, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. That's the center of Black struggle. That's the center of Black revolution. That's the center of Black liberation and moving forward. It's really the center of any liberation moving forward. But Africans, you know, are the center of the struggle we've been having, centered around this very point. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, because none but ourselves can free our minds. Garvey said that first. Garvey said that first. In a small pamphlet, Garvey wrote that first. Then Bob Marley, obviously reading the pamphlet, put it in a song. Bob was famous for this, taking actual words, actual books, and making songs out of them. It's an old tradition as well, an old griot and decay tradition to turn knowledge into poetry and song, to get it out to a mass audience or to help people to remember it. So shout out to Garvey, shout out to Bob Marley, shout out to the whole Marley family, straight up. Everybody doing their thing. And so now let's get with this reading. Oh, and so the calendar. You have Wednesday or Thursday or Friday or Saturday or next month, 2 months down, in front of you right now. Right into those empty boxes, your future. That's the proper use of the calendar. Not to look at the calendar only to see, like, look at the calendar only to see, what day it is. Just look at the calendar, see what day it is. No. You're looking at the calendar to see, you're looking at the calendar to plan your future. And so today is Sunday. What does your Tuesday look like? And I mean, really, what do you want on Tuesday? I want $50,000 on Tuesday. If you practice, it will actually manifest for you just like that. And I don't want to put money on it. Look, anything. It becomes infinite. The things you may want or need for yourself. You plan it, plot it. I want to lose 10 pounds. I'm not going to start today. But let me write it down on Friday and let the manifestation come. And let me be a man of my word, a woman of my word. Let me be a person of my word and do that on Friday. It straightens you up. Every successful business has schedules. We do this on this, it's called a deadline. It should be called a live line. I don't know where that dead came from, but we have that cutoff point where this thing has to happen or at this time. And that's what I'm talking about. Timing is everything. And that's what we're going to be reading about today. The seasons. Timing is everything. Knowing when to move and when not to move. This is the navigation of life. So before we begin, what I'm saying here is the Temple of Hip Hop is a hip hop preservation ministry, archive, school, and society. Our aim is to establish hip hop as a legitimate global culture of peace and prosperity. We approach hip hop as culture. We always have and we always will. Our approach to hip hop is that we are not just doing hip hop. We are hip hop. We are it. Okay. We are the citizens of hip hop. We are hip hopians. We live in hip hopia. We create our own reality with our unity of thought. This is high level. This is high level, and whatever you want to put on the end of that. High level science, high level political science, high level metaphysics, high level whatever it is. This is above my rent, my car, my girl, my man, my kids, this is outside of that. This is above this right now. Not making that important, but be clear with where you are right now. This is divine knowledge that we are talking about here. So if you're not into divine knowledge, or if you don't believe that that's who you are, this is not the place for you. Everything is not for everybody. So I know KRS is a celebrity and all of this type of stuff. I know my lyrics is dope. I know I'm grabbing your brain. I'm just kidding. But some people are looking at this only for entertainment. That's my point. And if you're here just for the entertainment, fine. There it is. Maybe I'll spit around for you later on. But be clear with what this actually is. This is a hip-hop preservation society, and we are training future teachers. Actually, we're training our citizens, but some of you will actually become teachers of this knowledge and spread this out to others who need to hear this. What are we preaching? Health, love, awareness, and wealth through the mastery of hip hop. Is that clear? Is that clear? Health, love, awareness, and wealth through the mastery of breaking, MCing, graffiti art, DJing, beatboxing, street fashion, street language, street knowledge, and street entrepreneurialism, which is where that calendar just placed us. On several levels: street knowledge, street language, graffiti writing's all in there. And then the entrepreneurialism at the end of that. And other calendars to come. And bigger versions, like someone was just explaining, everybody's birthday is not in this, and as others come forward and we get more knowledge, this is obviously going to spread out. This is going to spread out. So it's like, and you should contribute. You should, everyone watching this, listening to this, contribute to the knowledge. Contribute to the knowledge. So be clear with what this is. It's the Temple of Hip Hop. We started in 1996. Before that, we was Human Education Against Lies, the HEAL organization. Before that, we was the Stop the Violence movement. Before that, we was Boogie Down Productions, which is more of a side thing. I should skip over BDP. But I'll say before that, we was Zulu Nation. Before that, we was at 1520 and 1600 Sedgwick Avenue at the birthplace of hip hop with Kool Herc and Cindy. Shout out to Cindy all day. And before that, we was 1965 with the rebellions and uprisings in the 60s civil rights movement. I was born into that. And most of the first stage, the first generation of hip hop was born between 61 and 71. I'm born 65. Right after the Watts uprisings, few years after, and Malcolm X assassination, the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act. 65 was 64 to like 66 was a huge time. And then of course, growing up in that also colors the type of teaching that I'm putting forward here today. I say that also because when someone is teaching, you got to know where they are coming from. You don't just read books or listen to teachers teach. You got to look at the character of the person that's actually teaching. That too is a teaching as well. Not just what's coming out my mouth, but my character, the way I conduct myself, the principles that I choose to live by, the way I carry myself. These two are teaching. This too is culture. And in fact, my character and demeanor and this kind of thing is more important in terms of learning culture than the knowledge that I'm actually giving. So be clear with that as well. You are hip hop. You are the culture itself. And your participation is what's going to make hip hop stronger or weaker. It's really that simple. It really is. If you could rise to that level of consciousness, you'll realize that that's really what it is. What it is that Everybody says culture. Yeah, we're doing it for the culture. No, you're doing it for yourself. And let's be clear with that too. There's nothing wrong with that. But be clear. If you're going to do something for a culture, then do something for the culture. Don't say you're doing something for the culture, but really you're doing something for yourself. You're helping your career. You're pushing yourself forward. You're doing whatever you got to do. Okay. But if you're going to do something for someone else or something else, what are you sacrificing then? What are you releasing of yourself to put into that thing that you say you are in, excuse me, you are in allegiance with, you are in support of, you care about. So that's why the Temple of Hip Hop exists. This is evidence that you care about this thing called hip hop. This is the evidence. Now I know everyone else, and what I'm saying could also be a pretty harsh statement to say. I'm not dismissing anybody's work or work that has been done. I'm speaking truth. There's nothing like this in the world. Nothing. The Temple of Hip Hop, with its founder, KRS-ONE, is unique and special. And for you to be here at this time, during these times, makes you unique and special. You don't need humility here. We are a humble people, but this is not the place for humility. This is the place to poke your chest out right now. This is the place to stand up and say, I am hip hop, and be proud of that. And that pride, that ego, that self-assertion is what builds cultures, builds nations. We can't get too far away with ourselves. That's why we got principles. Absolutely. But you know what the deal is. If you don't love yourself, if you have no esteem about yourself, this is what Garvey was teaching too. If you don't love yourself and who you are, then there is no revolution. There is no development. There is no self-determination. There's nothing. You're just talking. And that's cool too. If those just want to talk, go ahead and talk. But when do you educate the people that are around you? When do you really sit down and put money, put your time, bring your mind to a study to develop yourself and say, you know what, I want to unite with this kind of movement. I think these people are going somewhere. I think this is something that I can trust. I think this is something trustworthy. This is how you have to feel about it, because if you don't, then you're just here for the entertainment. And like I say, that's cool too. I make a lot of money on entertainment, so I'm not fronting on entertainment, not at all. But be clear with what this is. This is the Temple of Hip Hop. This is not entertainment. This is about our children. This is about us in our older ages. This is about hip hop is 200 years from now. If we don't get this right, y'all, we messing a lot of people up in the future. And that's what we're talking about, the seasons. Now, before we get there, we at the top of the year, so I want to direct your attention real quick to the freestyles. I'm zipping ahead real quick. Go to page 384. Go to page 3. I'm sorry. Well, it starts on page 384, but I want to bring you over to 385. We're not reading the freestyles. If you want, you can read this on your own. But we are at the top of the year. Today is my son's birthday, Isaac. And I hope I don't pull this out. Today is my son's birthday, Isaac, January 2nd. And so, and there's a weird story with that too, because he could have been born on January 1st. And they said the first child born in the year 2000 was supposed to get $1 million or something like that. And we didn't want to sell our child. But Isaac could have been born on January 1st. He was, 1999, December 31st is when he could have been born. We waited one day, let New Year's go by, and the first, and he was actually born on the 2nd. We had a choice as to when he could have been born. So he was born on the 2nd. It was dope. So talk about Planned Parenthood in that sense. So now turn to page 385. What I want you to look at here is the freestyles. And the reason why is because we're at the top of the new year. And at the top of the new year, we adjust ourselves to the freestyles. Your gospel, if you're traveling or at your house, your home, most of the time your gospel is out and it's open to the freestyles, which are 365 conscious rhymes. And so I just want to read you a little explanation about the freestyles at the top of the year so we can get adjusted to that. I'm starting at 9, paragraph 9 on page 385. Paragraph 9, 385. Here we go. Here, with this project, I've gone even further with the concept of the freestyle, by offering 365 inspirational rhymes for a free hip-hop life. The freestyles are free to all temple members. And look at that's one complete sentence. The freestyles are free to temple members. They're not free to everybody. These are free to us, those who have committed to the temple of hip-hop, who have said to 3 people, I am hip-hop, who have confirmed their citizenship as hip-hopians, those who live by the Declaration of Peace, walk by the divine performance, seek health, love, awareness, and wealth. These are temple members. And those who adhere to these principles, the freestyles are free to you. Such members use these rhymes as daily affirmations, as well as potential choruses and verses in songwriting and or book writing. Moreover, the Temple of Hip Hop uses these verses as tools of inspiration for true hip hoppers. Like, in other words, if you're when you're teaching this to others, you could take one freestyle and do a whole sermon on it. Just pull out one freestyle, maybe the freestyle of that day, one freestyle of that day, and you can teach a whole lesson on it. So just know that as well, okay? The Temple of Hip Hop uses these verses as tools of inspiration for true hip hoppers. And I just thought about that. The way I used it a couple of weeks ago was I was talking to somebody and just spit to them today's freestyle. And it actually matched the situation we was in, and the person gained enlightenment. Paragraph 10. Although each verse is relatively short, 2 bars each. Each verse introduces an important subject for daily observation and discussion, not just inner observation, but also discussion. There are 365 verses, one for each day of the year. They can be said to music, 90 beats per minute recommended, or recited internally as an affirmation. Even though each day is allotted its own verse, hip-hoppers are encouraged to choose a favorite rhyme from among the 365 verses and make it their daily affirmation. Like me, I got mine. It goes, today is the day I live by each verse. Advancing my life begins with me first. Even though each day is allotted its own verse, hip-hoppers are encouraged to choose a favorite rhyme from among the 365 verses and make it their daily affirmation. The freestyles are observed daily. However, each one can be used as a subject of a weekly lesson. I just said that as well. The true hip-hopper meditates upon the freestyle of the day as a daily guidance and or affirmation tool. Within the daily order of the freestyles, hip-hoppers are encouraged to fast every 7 days, regardless of when the fasting day appears within the month. Every 7 days does not mean every Sunday, and fasting does not always imply the lessening of one's food intake. Here, fasting simply means to lessen your intake of sugar, salt, dairy, flour, alcohol, tobacco, meats, marijuana, and other intoxicants, as well as certain people, places, thoughts. Like, fast from this. Get away from certain people, thoughts. Stop thinking certain things, or give yourself a break from it. Money spending. Can you go a day without spending money? Talking. Can you go a day without talking? Imagine that. Can you go a day without your phone? These are spiritual, like lifting weights, like lifting spiritual weights. Money spending, talking, and other addictive habits every 7 days, or abstain from many of these events, people, activities, and products altogether. So every 7 days, we choose something that we indulge in and break from it. This is discipline. And it's hard. It's hard. So sometimes you find yourself breaking away from simple things, little things. I'm going to not do this. It's something easy to do. No, give yourself, lift that weight. Lift that weight. Something that you want to do often, or people you want to see often, or money spent, or talk, whatever it is that you have to constantly do every 7 days, break from it, fast from it. And not everything, just pick 1 or 2 things and just clamp down. You'll enjoy it better the next day. That next day, you don't just run to it, but you see you have strength over it. And so with that strength, you get to choose your direction in life. You're not led by the environment. The environment is now led by you. That's the importance of that lesson. That's the importance of it. It's important that you walk into environments and not be tempted by everything around you. I'm going here because it's hot. I'm going there because it's cold. It's sweet over here, but it's bitter back there. You can't be moved by that. You have to be moved by the inner being. And this is an exercise that gets you there every 7 days. Give light to the inner being whenever those 7 days appear. Because every 7 days is not Sunday. And you'll see that as we look at 365 days. You'll see how arbitrary the time and the calendar, I'm not going to get into that, but you begin to see when your life is patterned by the freestyles, which is basically 365 days, not necessarily weeks, months, or even years, just 365 days. And every 7 days, I take this fast. Some days, some months you'll notice, because months are different and things are changing. So some months, the 7 days will land on a Sunday. Other months, the 7 days will land on a Wednesday. Other months, or other times of the year, the 7th day will land, some other time. And it's a good exercise. It's a good exercise to get into. That's why we're reading this. We're at the top of the year, so we're reading this now. The Temple of Hip Hop suggests water-based soups, cleansing teas, and water for beverages, particularly every 7 days, as well as soothing music, silence, and or spiritually productive conversations every 7 days. See January 7th, 14th, 21, 28, and February 4th, 11th, 18th, etc. These are the every 7 days. And you'll notice that the freestyle alludes to some kind of eating, health, fasting, something every 7 bar is 2 bars. So every 14th bar, it relates to eating or fasting or so on. And we'll look at that in a minute. Finally, December 32nd begins at 12 noon on December 31st. Now, I went through this in my own meditation. I should have said this to you in our last.
I did it. I went over it last.
Oh, you did go over it. Yes, indeed. Okay, good. But again, I should have been here, of course. I got hemmed up, and Son One had to fill in for us. And thank you for that. Indeed, as you can see, we're in California. As well, and just to divert for 1 hot minute, I drive everywhere, so I came across California beautiful country, America. You know what it is. Got over here, and I would say this, you know, to us. So I was doing a New Year's party, and it was supposed to be myself, DJ Jeter, DJ Scribbles, um, uh, Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal as a DJ, and Lil Wayne and E40 was all on the bill. Make a long story short, only the DJs, myself, and E40 showed up. And it was a huge letdown for the crowd as well. But we were the only ones to show. It was a hectic night. I guess, you know, people got things to do, whatever. But, you know, I went on early. I wasn't the headliner. I wasn't, you know, any of that. I was just KRS-ONE being called to Coachella to do this show. People of Coachella, you know, asked for KRS, I guess. And so I came forward. So I just gave, you know, we gave our show. We gave them our little thing. Turned out we blasted these things. It's got at the end of the day, you know, we didn't get there. We didn't go there for that. Nothing. We was respecting that we was the opener in this situation. I think Lil Wayne was the headliner. E40 went on after me, and it was DJs that were going on after me as well. We went on about 9:30 early. There was a crowd there. It was nice, but nowhere near the crowd that would be there like at 12 midnight and so on. We got it so busy. At the end, I threw on Simone's song, Celebrate Our Lives. Maybe I could, I don't know if I have it here to play it, but it was amazing. It was an EDM crowd as well. So here I am doing hardcore hip hop, spitting rhymes to an EDM crowd. We broke them anyway. But the point is at the end, we threw on one of Simone's EDM songs. Place got so sick in there. It was crazy. And it just goes to show about the diversity. The diversity. I was saying to Simone at the end of the day, that was real MCing. Because here we are at an EDM performance, and you could be arrogant about yourself. Hey, I'm just throwing on Sound of the Police and step into a world, and the MCs act like that. Y'all know these songs, so I'm the star, and you know this. No. I was really interested in these people having a good time. So we went, you know, into our off-the-road stuff and in this stuff to bring out the spirit, and we did for the new year. And then Simone ended it with Celebrate Your Life. And it was just amazing what actually went down. So we're probably going to premiere that song as well at some point here. Celebrate Our Lives, and with the remix with will.i.am. Big up to the Black Eyed Peas, will.i.am and the whole crew. He jumped on Simone's song. He heard it, was like, I gotta remix this. He jumped on it, did two dope verses. We'd probably be able to play it. So I premiered some of it at the New Year's because we're getting ready to release the song. So I just mentioned that as a sidebar note. You know, just a sidebar note about being prepared for the environment in which you're in. Don't allow the environment to move you. Move the environment. This is a secret to success. If you go into environments and allow the environment to dictate to you, you know, what it is, then you are trapped by the environment. Now, of course, there are signs that warn you, exit only, 50 feet down, watch your head. You know, these signs are important. But there are other signs within the environment that you don't need to see, that you don't need to be tempted by, that you don't need to be lured by. And some of them are people. We're going to be reading about that as well. Some of them are people. And so, you know, be clear when you enter an environment that you're stable in the environment, that is being hip to your hop. Are you hip to your movements? Are you aware of why you are moving? So, let me just finish this up. This is the 365 rhymes and the importance of them. This is spiritual weightlifting, and it gives you a sense of independent self. Let me take you back over here on 15. I don't need to read. No, we don't need all of this. We just need to finish 15. Okay, so this is paragraph 15 again. Finally, December 32nd begins at 12 noon on December 31st. That was the day of fasting. You give yourself a half day. On the last day of the year, we give ourselves a half day, devoting the last 12 hours of the 31st day to spiritual atonement as a 32nd day. On this day, we drink only water-based soups and water. We forgive others and ourselves, accepting in faith the mercy and patience of the Great Spirit. And Great Spirit is how the indigenous people of the Americas and elsewhere as well, Australia, the Aborigines called the Great Mother Serpent, a Great Spirit as well. But really here in the Americas, the indigenous people to the Americas refer to God as the Great Spirit. There are spirits around. There's all kinds of spirits, and you have one too. And you are one, really, a spirit. But there's a great spirit, an infinite and all-seeing, all-knowing mind. And we knew this. So this is where we use that word great spirit. We forgive others and ourselves, accepting in faith the mercy and patience of the Great Spirit. And this is what begins our day. This is what begins the year of the hip hopper. In this, I know why I move. This is the year I'm not going to move because the bills are due and I need money. I'm going to move on my principles, even if that means getting up, moving, and go get that money. If that's your principle, if that's meaning that this is your responsibility to work and go get that money, then work and go get that money, not for the sake of the money, but for the sake of the responsibility. For the sake of the fact that you are the reliable one in your group. That's why you're moving. You're not moving because of the fear of not having. This is a tough one because that's what we're doing. We're moving because we're fearing that if I don't do this work, I'm not going to have. And God showed me, the Great Spirit showed me a very valuable lesson in 2020 and 2021 when the entire entertainment industry collapsed due to COVID. Nobody was working, doing nothing, okay, nothing. But somehow through 2021 and the end of 2020, going into 2021, I was more prosperous. I couldn't believe it. And I want to say it's small. Now I'm bringing the humility back. Okay, let's bring the humility back to the conversation. Okay, because in no way am I saying this in any other way other than to teach this lesson. I thought that my livelihood was based on my concert performances, my lecturing, book writing, these things, these incomes. When all that went away, and there's no concerts, no lectures, nothing, okay? I ate better than when I worked for 30 years. I couldn't believe it. But it had something to do with my own activity causing my own expenses. My constantly moving for money was costing me money, so I had to get more money to pay for the expenses of going to get me. It was crazy. And only COVID snapped me out of it and said, no, God will take care of you. And I preach look at me, y'all. I'm preaching for 30 years. And I'm still saying to myself, well, this is society. We got to make money to live. And I'm looking at my water holes as to where my income is coming from. Water hole dried up. Poof, gone. For everybody. Somehow, we continue these calls with no interruptions. I'm eating every day. I actually gained weight. I I'm trying to jog and run it off right now. Like, I'm like, okay, but the lesson is God will take care of you. If you have the courage to walk on the edge of life. You see people say, I don't want to be marginalized. Don't marginalize me. Put you on the outside, on the fringes. And you see how opposite that is to the spirit. The spirit is marginalized. It's on the edge. It's on that place where people don't want to go. It's right there where people don't want to go. The edge of life, where death is, right there. Can you walk up to that? Right where the devil is. Not in the comfort of God in the bosom of the mother. No, right at the line. The army, infantry people hold the line. This is it. This is manhood. This is courage. This is if your God works right now. You at the front lines and dudes is aiming at you. And this is it. Well, do you want, not many people want to live there on the front line, on the frontier, marginalized. You don't want to live there. They want to live in the center, where it is comfortable, where it is safe. But if you want your life to move, you got to move it. And if you move your life, you're moving from the center. And you're moving towards some marginalized place until you make a new center. And this is the whole point. This is the whole point to this whole teaching. It's about grabbing hold of your own life and knowing why you are doing what you are doing. Don't just do things because they're habit or emotional, or you're stuck in fear of losing or not having. No, these are the things that have to go away now. They have to go away now. Maturity of mind is what has to happen now. Maturity of mind, and it's not easy. I'm preaching it easy, but it's not easy. And I'm saying this because I walk this path. It's not easy, and it's not meant to be easy. Like lifting weights are not easy. Go try lifting 50 pounds with one hand. I mean, come on, you guys, you got to work for that, okay? And you may just get 3 off. Let me put this down, okay? Because it's not easy, but the more you do it, the more you rip that muscle, the stronger it gets. And this is how nature works. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The more you apply your faith, the stronger it gets. It turns into a science. The more you apply your love, the stronger it gets. It turns into health. The more you apply your intelligence, the stronger it gets. It turns into broad understanding, wisdom, truth, philosophy, knowing how to make the right decisions. This is where we going, y'all. This is where we going. This is where we going. And be clear with it. Be clear with it. Don't add nothing to this. Don't take nothing away. Don't, none of that. This is where we are going. We are expanding our minds outside of the stupidity we see outside in the street. We're not judging nobody. We're not criticizing anybody. But if you got to steal and rob people, you're not with us. You're a traitor to what we're doing. If you lying and deceiving people, you're not with us. You're a traitor to what we are doing. If you can't unite with a stranger, with your brother, with your sister, if you can't see a family with little kids running around, if you don't act like those kids are your kids too, you're not with us. So just be clear. I'm not being elitist. I'm not trying to push anybody out or in. We're not soliciting here at all, okay? But this is hip hop. And we created this. All of us on this call, we created this. All of us, okay? We're not going to allow some corporation or some, idiot in our own culture to throw away the legacy of what we know we have. So somebody got to speak that truth. Somebody got to speak that truth. And so here I am with no problem speaking it. I'm not tied to nothing. I ain't got no contracts. I'm a free black man, and there's not many around. So I say that humbly. I don't say that arrogantly. I say that humbly, because some men would like to be free. Any men, white men, black men, Latino, it don't matter, Native, whatever. People would like to be free, but they can't be free. Why? Because they're afraid to be free. And that's just about what it is. If you want to be free, just quit your job, quit your school, quit whatever you got and go live in the street. You're free. But you don't want to do that. You know, it's too uncomfortable. And actually, if you over like 30 or 20, you can forget that. Okay, like forget that. You got a family, you know. But seriously, if you 16, 18, 20, you don't want to hear the controversial truth right now. You really want to live a free life? Really? Really? For real? For real? Walk away from everything that's secure in your life and build security for yourself. How do you build security for yourself? You get knowledge, you get educated as to who you are. Meaning, I knew I was a rapper. First of all, when I was young, I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a veterinarian. One of my first inclinations is, I told my mother, I was like 6, 7, when I was at Cedar Park in the Bronx. That little Larry wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a veterinarian. I would take care of animals. And what a derogatory term. But I wanted to take care of those beings. And I got older. I outgrew it. I didn't want to. I didn't start. It just didn't happen. But the point was, the point was that to do that, I realized later on that I was a poet, and to pursue poetry, I had to leave home. To pursue philosophy, I should say, to pursue poetry from a philosophical point of view, I had to leave home. So I thought I had to leave home. And to be hip hop as well during that time, you had to be homeless to really be the culture, because families didn't understand it. They were stopping you from touching the turntable and rapping in the room with loud music. Many families did not understand that. I was blessed with a mother that did understand. She was buying the records. We was playing them. Now, of course, we had to go take the garbage out. We had to wash the dishes. Tons of homework had to get done. We had to write reports on Africa before we could listen to Rappers Delight. And it did go down like that in my house. But still, my mother was not having us touch that turntable and start going shika, 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 shika. That was not happening. She was not having us go to the back of her receiver, take it apart, and rewire it like the Cold Crush was doing. Tony Tone, shout out to you, Kaz, and the whole crew, Charlie Chase. They were just straight rewiring stuff to make it sound like what they wanted it to sound like. In that sense, my mother wasn't having it. So a lot of us had to become homeless, and not just homeless meaning that you had no home, but you spent most of your time in the street. Most of your time was spent outside. Your apartment or where you lived was just a shit, shower, and shave. That was it. You just slept there. That's all it was. It was nothing else. You lived in the street. You learned in the street. Your business, everything, friends, everything was met in the street. And we lived a street life. We played in the street. We had those that remember the game Skelly. We drew it on the actual street. Okay, hopscotch and all of that. Those are street games. And the actual street, the curb, the street was what was used as our recreation. This is what created hip hop. This is the essence of the culture itself, the streets. It's the reason why in our 9 elements, we keep that word street in it forever. Because 100 years from now, people are not going to say streets. They're going to say something else. And it's not going to be what we meant it to be. No, we mean street. Okay? And that's not just the pavement. It's the consciousness of the people in a neighborhood. That's the streets. And so we come from the streets, the literal streets, as well as the consciousness of the neighborhood that started hip hop, and neighborhoods that continue to progress hip hop. There are different streets, different neighborhoods of consciousness all around the world in the United States. And to become a master of the streets, it was originally to become a master of hip hop. When you knew what hip hop was at its core, you was able to go from Bronx to Compton and have friends. You was able to come from Compton to the Bronx and have friends. You was able to go from here to England, to Japan, and have friends, because we all knew what the core of the culture was. You may express it this way, you may express it that way, but we know what the core is. And we can see it in your dress, we can see it in your talk, we can see it in how the things you gravitate into. You may use the bass like this in Miami, but in the East Coast, we use it like this. And on the West Coast, we use it like this. But we all using bass. Let's get it clear, dude. The bass is where it's at. But we all doing it in different styles. This is culture. And once you understand that, understand that part of your culture. It's not how we manipulate the culture, but there are some basics to the culture itself. There's some basics, like sampling is basic to hip hop. Basic to him, not just its music, but to its culture. Like, check out Dapper Dan, the work with Dapper Dan, sampling Gucci and sampling Fendi and sampling Issei Laurent and making his own thing and blowing up to the point where they have to now hire him. This is the example. So this is my rant on being hip to your hop, knowing why you move, and the importance of this, the importance of it. And I can't get my mind off that calendar as well, because the calendar is a very important thing. Let us now turn to the seasons. Let's now turn to the seasons. This is the 6th overstanding, page 314. We are on page 314. Okay. These are the seasons, and this particular overstanding is dealing with movement, and it's dealing with timing and time itself. We're going to talk about time, not my daughter, but time itself, T-I-M-E. We're going to talk about time and moving through space, how the hip-hopper moves, or suggestions on how the hip-hopper can move, is what I should say. These are suggestions on how we can move. I've moved like this on and off. I use it when I need to, when there are storms. And other stuff you'll notice is habitual. It's just part of who I've become and who many of you have become as well. It's just part of it. Much of this will be a confirmation for you as well, because you're already living it. So let's get busy here. The 6th overstanding, the seasons. Peace and much love to all future hip hoppers. Rejoice, for we are truly blessed people. We are blessed people. Do not be discouraged or depressed by the criticisms of the world, for ignorance is always bold and certain. However, ignorance is also temporary, for it is better to be fresh in the sight of God and whack to the world than to be fresh in the sight of the world and whack to God. For the same world that hails you up in praise is the same world that can tear you down in judgment. Don't we know this? The same world that condemns you is the same world that hails you up. Such is the way of the world. Be prepared. Therefore, focus not upon the praises or the criticisms of the world. Focus only upon your performance before God. Stand only in truth, for the correction of God is like that of a loving mother, while the criticisms of the world are like those of rebellious children. For the world will hate you one day and then love you the next. Daddy, I hate you. Why? Because you can't go outside today. Tomorrow, Daddy, I love you. Why? I bought you a new bike. This is the world, though. This is how the world acts. Likewise, the rewards, awards, and validations of God are like the handmade clothing of a protective mother that is given to her child to guard against the harsh elements of those rainy and cold seasons. And look at what this is, okay? Likewise, the rewards, the awards, and the validation of God, and notice the spelling, are like the handmade clothing of a protective mother that is given to her child to guard against the harsh elements of those rainy and cold seasons. However, the rewards, awards, and validations of the world are like the mass-produced clothing of an impersonal corporation that is sold to you for a price. Such clothing only offers temporary protection against the harsh elements of those rainy and cold seasons because the clothing manufacturer needs you to keep coming back to purchase the clothing. Eventually, such clothing even goes out of style. For the mass-produced clothing of the world impresses only the immature, while the handmade clothing of God, notice the spelling, impresses only the wise. Choose today the garment you shall wear. I'm wearing the cloak of Garvey today. Choose today what you gonna wear. Not just this or, whatever you're wearing. What principles are you wearing? Fear or courage? Ignorance or awareness? What are you wearing? Well, the mass-produced clothing of the world is temporary because they want you to keep coming back. With all due respect, a high school diploma, college degree, a job validation, these kinds of things. As prestigious as they are, we're not degrading this, but we are speaking the truth. There is no comparison to God's validation of you over the world's validation. The world's validations are cool for the world, but God's validation of you is a whole different thing that also operates in the world. And get this, the world's validations don't operate with God, but God's validations operate all in the world. Choose what garment you're going to wear, God's garment or the world's garment. Choose today the garment you shall wear, for we have learned that, well, let me read 6 again. For the mass-produced clothing of the world impresses only the immature, while the handmade clothing of God impresses only the wise. Choose today the garment you shall wear, for we have learned that sunny and warm days are followed by cloudy days, which are followed by rainy and stormy days, which return to some sunny and warm days. Those who are unaware of the spiritual seasons of life believe that when the storms of life beat upon their circumstances, they are doomed to that situation for the rest of their lives. It seems as if the storms will never end. Like when you're in a bind, it seems like this is your whole life. And in depression, they make decisions under pressure, which force them to make the wrong decisions in life.
Hold on. In desperation.
What did I say?
Depression.
Oh, yeah. Same thing, my brother. Same thing. Let's read that one more time. Those who are aware of the spiritual seasons of life, those who are unaware of the spiritual seasons of life, believe that when the storms of life beat upon their circumstances, they are doomed to that situation for the rest of their lives. It seems as if the storm will never end. And in desperation, I said depression before, but same thing, really. But in desperation, they make decisions under pressure, which force them to make the wrong decisions in life. In the long run, such desperate decisions only prolong their suffering. Attuned hip-hoppers who have acquired the knowledge of life's seasons and cycles occasionally go through the same storms everyone else goes through. However, with an awareness that the storm is always temporary, the attuned hip-hopper remains calm and mentally still, allowing the storm to pass over them. Others, without knowledge of life's seasons, try to run from the storm, only to wind up running with it. Even more people miss valuable opportunities and lessons that can be found in the midst of the storm by running away from the storm. The same applies to the sunny days. Not realizing that everything has its season, the unaware rap fan believes that he is running ahead of the storm when he is actually keeping up with the storm. For when the storms of life beat against your clothing, it is usually best to remain still and allow the storm to pass you by. The same applies to the sunny days. With difficult people, oh, this is a highlight here. We're going to highlight 10. 10 is getting highlighted. Let me just look over here real quick. Yeah. We're going to highlight 10 and 11. 11 is different. I'm going to talk on that. Goes back to choosing the clothes you want to wear. And what we're going to do here, let me just go ahead and highlight 6 as well, because 6 is going to go with 11. And I'm going to explain that later. You may want to make a note over 6 that it goes with 11. We're highlighting 10. This is an important point in teaching right here, and for internal a reflection, obviously. Here's 10. With difficult people and circumstances, be still. Be on good terms with all people, even if you must be silent in the face of those that disrespect you. Develop the habit of not saying things that you may regret later when the storm of hostility and or depression has passed. Be silent. Be still. Even with all forms of temptation, be silent, be still. Allow the storms of those tempting desires to pass over you. Do nothing. When tempted, do nothing. This is a hardcore lesson right here. And I still struggle with this. And it's a struggle because I'm like 80% there. But that 20 be kicking my ass crazy. But I'm 80% there. I do follow this. Yes, indeed. Sometimes the storms of life come upon me. And I go right here. Let me be still. You'll notice it with temptation. When you're tempted one way or the other, the best way to deal with temptation is to be still. Because eventually, it passes you by. And it's such a revelation because you say, what if I went into it? Like, okay, here's the other side. You always feel bad after the temptation. After you fall into the temptation, you feel weak. And that weakness, it brings down your spirit. Because after you eat that, indulge in that, do that, You say, damn, I did it. I satisfied that thing, that urge. I'm weak. But I'm weak. And you know it. And it hits your heart. But the opposite of it is when you not so much resist temptation, but just don't do anything. I know I want this, or I want to go here, or I'm, whatever the storm is, or whatever that tempting situation is. Remember, it's not just a food or something, an alcohol or a smoke or something. It's not just that. We are tempted in every way, like every way. That's what we mentioned, salt and sugar. We mentioned people and spending money and getting on the phone every time and texting. And these things are temptations. And so, you got to grab hold of yourself. And that's the point to any spiritual teaching, really. Grab hold of yourself. Have some direction about yourself. Prove to yourself that you are yourself. And it makes your indulgences taste even better. It makes things better when you walk in this. And that's why I say I'm about 80% there. I ain't 100%, not yet. But I'm about 80%, and even that might be arrogant to even say. But I'm being truthful with it. I'm about 80% accurately, honestly. Where the temptation comes, I could stop and do nothing. Because I've experienced it. It goes past, and I say, right, ching, one more feather in my hat. I didn't succumb to that. Now I can move on with the faith, with the confidence that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, that I'm who I say I am. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm who I say I am. I'm doing what I said I'm doing. I'm moving in the direction I say I'm moving in. How many times do you refuse yourself pleasure? We went over this last time. This is the last time. How many times do you refuse the pleasure? I know how many times we indulge in it, but how many times you refuse it? That is the path. That's the spiritual path. How many times you refuse your own reward? Or spread your reward out. This came to you. It belongs to you. You deserve this. But you dice it up and feed it to others who didn't get the opportunity and don't deserve it. But they could really use this right now. And you know they could use it right now. They know they could use it right now. And all you got to do is share your blessing and other people are lifted. That's the character we're talking about here. You're not going to be able to do that if you're tempted all the time. If you can't look at the temptation and say, if you're going to indulge in it, say it. I'm being tempted and weak. Let me be weak and get into this. That affirmation will make you strong. But those who are really arrogant are the ones who's like, I ain't doing none of that. And you are tempted and lured by everything in the world. Everything is luring you and dragging you and moving you and this and that, because you can't differentiate between, you can't even say to yourself, I'm being weak right now, but I'm going to have this. Okay. But I know there's a higher path. I know, acknowledge though that you know there's something higher. That's the discipline. It's not to keep depriving yourself of your pleasures or keep depriving yourself of the things you want. That's not the path. The path is higher consciousness. That's the path. Higher consciousness. I understand broadly what I am doing. I understand broadly other avenues of what I'm doing, where I can be going with this. I'm broad with it. That's the path. And so to be still, it says when tempted, do nothing. That's a discipline. And you should practice it every once in a while. Do nothing. When the temptation comes, do nothing. Let it pass over you. And you notice the body changes. It has that urge, and then it changes. And it has some other urge. And it changes from that to something. It goes from urge to urge until you, the light within the body, the consciousness that animates this thing, when you take control of your own temple, your own house, that's when the body gives up its urges. In fact, it urges for you. You, the being, is the temptation of your physical body. People who do exercise understand this. The body craves exercise. When you start getting into it, the body craves it. It wants you to exercise. But initially, it was you that told the body, get up. We're going to get these 20 pounds off. The body said, no. I want this, the cheese, the cake, the da, the do, the dee. You said no. Something inner said no. The body never says no. The body says yes, 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 yes. It's the mind. It's consciousness. It's the being within that determines the yes or no of the body. But if you're not the being within, there's no yes or no with the body. The body's just moving and you're following it. You know, you are the servant of your body when you give in to the cravings every time. But when you practice, especially at a young age, to just every once in a while, every 7 days, give up a pleasure. And a good one, too. Some of you know, I want this. Give it up every 7 days. This is the path. This is the path. You know, remember, you know, I don't have my Bible with me right now. It's a shame. I should. But there's a passage in the Bible where Jesus, Yeshua, was criticized. He said, look at the Christ. You're supposed to be the Christ. You run around preaching Christ. And all you do is drinking, smoking, you hanging with hoes, you with tax collectors. He's like, right. When you with the Christ, you rejoice. You doing everything, okay? Nobody read that part like that. Nobody, that's why I said I have my Bible here, because I'll point it right to you. We'll go right there. And it's like, no, they say you're hanging with taxes. He says, it is when the Christ is gone. He said, my hour has not come yet. Now, when I'm gone, that's when they're supposed to clean up. And the parable is when Christ is leaving your life and you know the signs and the symbols and the seasons, and you see your life going in a different direction, saying, nah, I don't like where this is going. The Christ is leaving me. The love is leaving me. The courage is leaving me. The clarity of mind is leaving me. That's when you say, I'll start fasting. Let's start pleasure fasting. Let's start getting our minds clear, because the Christ is leaving. And when the Christ is leaving, when the Madhi is leaving, when the Buddha is leaving, when the Krishna is leaving you, that's when you say, now it's time to tighten up. And look at the analogy. That's when you want to tighten up. The Christ is when you feel yourself getting carnal again and, you know, going over there. That's when you do want to lift up. But when you in the Christ, it's party time, straight up. And every culture on earth knows this. Every religion on earth knows this. It was the church, the Vatican, no disrespect, but you know the history. It was them that came and said, partying with God is now outlawed. God is not a party anymore. It's just quiet. You don't sing no more. You don't beat the drum no more. You don't have sex no more. You're not smoking your thing no more. All this used to be going on when we worshiped God. When our ancient ancestors worshiped God, ganja smoke was everywhere. People were chewing the coca plant. People were taking ayahuasca. People were going off into other areas, coming back like, yo, God just told me this right here. Then we were dancing, beating the drum, going into trances. Dudes coming out with spirits in them. They used to talk like this. Yo, you know what's going on? They start beating that drum. Then they start going, some voice that you knew was your mother's voice coming out of a man in a trance. See, these things really happened and can happen and are happening, but we're so trapped by the screen that they show us, we deny what is real reality and what we are capable of. What we are capable of. If we would stop fronting and get back to what's real and true and original, which is basically what you're doing right now. That's basically it. If we would stop blaming each other and accept each other, we would find the truth. We would know how we're supposed to live. But if we keep blaming each other, if we keep criticizing each other, if we keep judging one another, we're never going to figure out how to really live. Because all we're doing is judging, blaming, and criticizing based upon the standards of Christian law. Wake up. So here we are at temptation. Be still. And practice this, because those of us who walk the spiritual path, we party the whole time. The party don't stop. So you got to, and especially those that walk the hip-hop spiritual path, like in other words, if you've mastered any of the artistic elements, breaking, MCing, graffiti, or DJing, beatboxing, if you've mastered any of that, it's party all the time then. Every day is Saturday. It's your profession to give the party, to be the life of the party. So you're always being tempted, indulged in something, this kind of thing. These lessons are very important for those who have mastered the elements, the artistic elements. We are in a situation where we're always tempted. We're always tempted. And to be strong in that entertainment situation, you got to follow these principles. You got to follow these principles, or they're going to pull you right down. I'll pull you right down with all types of temptations and things you're not supposed to be doing, but you got tempted into it, or things you want to do and you overindulge. Now you're sick, you're broke, you're this, you're that. You don't need it. You just don't need it. Follow the lessons that are being taught today. Keep out of a lot of trouble. So do nothing. When tempted, do nothing. That's highlight. Now, 11 is highlight. Here's the thing. But know this. Only those who wear the handmade clothing of God, and notice the spelling again. Purpose, mercy, peace. These, I'm just reading them as words, but really meditate on these words right here. Don't just breeze over this. This is very important. Only those who wear the handmade clothing of God, purpose, mercy, peace, charity, love, understanding, truth, discipline, inspiration, wisdom, gratefulness, self-sacrifice, etc. But these, purpose, that's a handmade clothing of God, the divinity of you. The lowercase lowercase od, God, G, capital G, O, lowercase od. Notice this, your divinity, you are wrapped in, what makes you divine is that you are wrapped in purpose. This is divine purpose, born with purpose or gained purpose, realized purpose. Both are divine. Mercy, you're cloaked in it. No one has to tell you to be merciful. Your character is merciful. Get the report. He killed 3 people, 2 of them with children. Let's burn it right now. Take them to dinner. Mercy. Mercy. This is someone's child. Let's speak to the mother and the father first. But he killed 2 children and killed the mother and raped the father. And mercy. What are you talking about, Chris? What? I'm talking about Emmett Till. Go look at the photo of Emmett Till. And then now go talk to his mother. His mother said, I'm Christian. Mercy. They killed her child, shot her, burned him, beat him. Her Bible had to become real right there. We don't experience Christ on this deep level, so we quit to blame other people and criticize other people and this, that, and the other. But when the Klan is at your door, you hear the horses outside and the word nigger, come outside, nigger. It's just a conversation here. But when the Klan is really outside your door, burning your car, blowing your car for no reason, and you know you're going to go outside and get shot. You in your family, you're not a coward, but you're not stupid either. This is a terrible situation to be in. Well, many people are in that situation right now. Right now. And they do some desperate things and they do some messed up stuff sometimes. Other people do some messed up stuff. Where's your mercy? This is where mercy comes in. Mercy don't come in for good people. You was merciful for somebody who's doing the right thing. The mercy and the forgiveness is given to those who have transgressed the law. And not everybody gets the mercy. Not everybody gets the mercy. But those who claim Christianity, those who can, not even Judaism. Judaism is not about mercy. Eye for an eye. I say that respectful, of course. No, Judaism is about mercy, but their mercy is within law. It's about the law, the Torah. The mercy is found in that. But the Christian says, no, you can be a criminal. You can be a murderer, a thief, and a liar. You're still a human being. This was Dr. King's teaching. Just because the Klan is beating us down, don't mean we have to beat them down. Of course, Dr. King and Stokely Carmichael disagreed. But look at the higher level of the lesson. Don't let the enemy degrade you to his level. This is the lesson right here. But only those of a high mind can even see that lesson. So this is what I mean. I just stop a little bit on mercy because people don't really understand what mercy is. And even to be cloaked in it. This is the handmade clothing of God. To have mercy. Now that's different from justice. And there is mercy in justice. Somebody deserves this punishment, but you give them this one out of mercy. Someone deserves to die for their crime, but they just get life imprisonment. That's a form of mercy. You know, do you consider the humanity of the next person? Mercy. Forgiveness goes further to where you really forget. People say forgive and forget the crime. Can you rise to that level? That's that deep level. That's and everybody can't go there, so don't judge that either. Okay, just because somebody else says, no, he killed 3 kids and killed the mother. They have all the right to say hang them. That's a hideous crime. Hang them now. But who are you? Is the question. That's the question. They've confirmed who they are. Hang them now. Sit them down in the electric chair now. Inject them with that thing now. But who are you? Are you chiming along? Kill them now. Or are you really walking with God who created that murderer too? Are you really walking with the universe and with nature that also produced that crime as well? Or produced that criminal as well? Who's in control? Is man in control or is God in control? Fundamental question. Is nature and the universe in control or is government in control? And if you believe government is controlled, then your judgment stops and starts with that. And some people go there. They say, we're not dealing with no God here. Dude blew up the building and 100 people died in it. They had nothing to do with him or her or them. We caught him though. Evidence right there. You on tape. We see you blowing the bomb. We see it. You deserve to die. Who were you at that moment? Who are you at that moment? And of course, we're talking rhetorically here. It has to go down for you to really answer this question. It actually, the crime has to go down. You know, something has to actually happen for you to really get this. Now, God forbid, we don't want this to happen. What we are talking about is the depth of mercy, the depth of it. Let me lighten it up a little bit. Just let me lighten it up a little bit. So dude is on the corner with the sign. I'm hungry, stranded, Vietnam vet, Iraq vet, whatever. You know, the sign you see outside. You getting the money? Or this is a scam. I know it's a scam. And we do know it's a scam. You know it's a scam. Look, I'll say this respectfully. No one in America is hungry. Now, I know that sounds stupid because there's actual statistics that show that there are, I would say, thousands of Americans that are going to bed hungry every night. Children are hungry in the United States. And see, this is what makes it stupid, because I'm saying children are hungry in the United States. I'm saying India, because it's so ridiculous. How can a child be hungry in the United States? But there are reports that there are families, children, and I'm not talking about from disaster relief or, you know, a hurricane came and wiped you out. Not that. I'm talking about the level, your level of poverty is such that you are going to bed hungry every night. The elderly in the United States are starving. It's real. But there's a deeper deal with that, okay? And that gets us back over to the dude with the sign, or whoever it is standing outside with the sign. In the United States of America, as corrupt as this place is, nobody in this country is without opportunity. Nobody. This is what makes America great again. This country sinks to the lowest. I mean, the absolute lowest levels we can imagine as civilized people, okay? America has a horrible record. Horrible. But there's this one piece that we cannot get past. There's this one piece that we can't get past. And it begins with the word freedom. This country may be a lot of things. A lot. Okay, and it is. But the one thing this country is not is a slave country. Meaning that, and I think, look what I'm saying, this country is built on slavery. Of course it was. But not everybody. When you do the homework and do the history, you realize that everybody has opportunity. Everybody. Do you hear what I'm saying? Some of you in other countries don't have these opportunities. You're listening to me right now in other countries. I'm letting you know right now. Some of countries I've been to, your countries, beautiful places to be. I can't say nothing. What am I going to say? Nothing. Beautiful countries to be. But the opportunities, everything is really government run. Even the businesses, I talked to some of the businesses, restaurants, or, you know, entrepreneurship is very, very low in other countries. You can't do what you want to do. You can't just have an idea and go out and manifest it. It's very difficult in other countries. You have to toe the line. You have to go to college. You have to do what you're told to do. And through that, you may become successful. You may do this, and those countries produce success for their people. And it's a thing. It's another culture. It's how they do it. But America is a different place, and this place is the wild, wild west. Even the East Coast. Okay, And the one thing we cannot refute is that in America, nobody's going to stop you from doing anything. That's the key. Nobody's going to stop you from doing anything. Now, of course, if it's illegal, somebody's trying to run up on you. But even in America, I say this respectfully, you got to get caught first. I mean, America's even like that. They say you are innocent until proven guilty. You are presumed innocent. Look at this is American law. This is the law. Okay, murderer could be walking right down the street. We all know this person's a murderer. We know it. But he says, but he hasn't been proven to be one. Every time we go around the corner, dude don't come back with the other person. But we don't see him killing the person. We don't see what's going on. But every time he walk around, go back in the woods with somebody, he come back alone and the person is gone. I think these people are dying, but you have no evidence, no proof. America says that's cool. You can think all day somebody a murderer. You can think all day somebody a thief. Your thoughts don't matter. You got to prove it. You got to get caught. You can do crime all day in the United States. Just don't get caught. Get caught, now you get shot, killed, stabbed. Now it's, oh, look how they're treating the black people. People don't really want to hear the truth, so I'm going to cut it right here. Just leave it. I'm leaving it at that. The point to my piece here is the other part of mercy, which is you see the guy on the corner. My point is you see the guy on the corner with the sign. It's a scam. You know it is, because everybody in the country got opportunity. In America, everybody got, and Americans are so giving and so gracious that, and no American is going to allow somebody to be hungry in front of them. And if you don't have, you don't have. If you got a passport, you pass them by. But most Americans, they'll throw you a sandwich. They'll throw you a joint. They'll buy you beer. They'll get you whatever, like whatever you want. Americans will just give it to you in that way, especially if you're struggling. Then also there are social programs. You can go to the precinct. If you're really starving and struggling, go to the local precinct. They'll hook you up, tell you go to the church. Go to here. That's what the police are there for. They're there to help the community. The community don't think that. So they never go to the police for help, because if you go there, you know you might not come out. So there's that. But that's what the police are supposed to be there for. Services. Go to the Salvation Army. There's a thrift store in every community. You can go there, ask questions. Yo, I need some money. I need some food. I have these children. I'm alone. I'm stranded. I'm this. America will hook you up. So the people standing out there with these signs, it is a scam. It is a scam. Or at best, it's a mental disorder. America has a lot of people suffering from mental disorders. The psychiatric situation in the United States, especially after COVID, has really risen. We're having a mental health crisis in the United States right now as I speak. So some of those people, not scamming, but out there because their own incapacity to think beyond their situation has come upon them. But I say this to say that even them, there are places that even they can go to receive help. So this idea of you standing on the corner waiting for people to give you money in a cup, that's a scam. Having said all of that, I still give the money. I know you scamming. I know you're going to take this money and go buy heroin with it. I know you're going to take this money. And some people say, well, why are you feeding their addictions? Why are you feeding and helping them to be? Because I'm not judging them. Mercy. You're asking me for something. You're on the corner humiliating yourself to begin with. Your dignity and pride are gone, okay? You're on the corner undignifying yourself, belittling yourself to strangers in the street for money. That's worth money to me. That alone is worth money. You're going to get out here in the United States of America, you're going to run this scam. Let me help you with your scam. Because what I get is the fact that I helped another human being in their endeavor to get somewhere, not judge them on what they're going to do with the money. What you do with the money is not my concern. Because when I walk into Walmart and I spend with these beggars, I don't ask Walmart what they doing with their money, and they building bombs and hiring the police to come and shoot my kids. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. It's something that just split out. But the places in which you're giving your money to are the same people that are oppressing you, and you never ask them where their money going. But you see the guy on the corner, and you say, you know, I ain't giving him a dime, giving him not $1. Nope, I don't know where your money going. And most of these people will give money to the policeman's ball, to the fire department, to all kinds of other beggars, and not give the money to one who looks like they really need this, whether they're scamming or not. You really need the money. Like you, this is your scam. You need this money. Take it even further. A Buddhist. Buddhist monks are known for begging. This is part of the Buddhist tradition. But if you're dressed as a Buddhist monk with a bald head and a gold and white on, or yellow and white on, and you're there saying, Buddha bless, you're more likely to give the money to a Buddhist monk who don't need it, too, by the way. A Buddhist monk does not need money. Let's be clear with that. But you'll give the Buddhist monk money. You'll give the Salvation Army money. Salvation Army don't need no money. Respectfully, I say this. You'll give a church money. Church don't need no money. But the person begging on the street, you don't give them no money. Or your heart turns against them because you feel it's a scam. But you don't think the church is a scam. Well, I'm sorry. It just keeps slipping out. I don't know what's happening with my mouth today. Let me get back to the read. You don't think these other things is a scam, but you do think the guy in the car. So you're judging. You're discriminating between scams. I'll put my money in this scam, but this scam I don't want to put my money in. Just think about that for a hot minute, because everybody's scamming. Okay, if somebody asking you for your money, stranger asking you for your money, they scamming too. I'm trying to get your money. Now, are you going to pay into that scam? Or should I say that scheme? Are you going to pay into that scheme? Why? Because that scheme benefits you. The stock market is a scheme. Investment is a scheme. But because these schemes benefit you, you're going to give to it and don't judge it either. Your money going to making bombs to kill other people. I don't judge that. And this was really happening. You swipe that credit card, bombs getting made. But you don't care about that. Or can't care. Can't move your mind to that. But the person on the corner with a scheme, you can't help your dude in the street see his scheme come true. Let's see my dude's scheme come true real quick. Let me just hit you with $1. Hit you with $2. Hit you with that may be his scheme. What you think? Weed ain't a scheme? You don't think the drugs you buy, none of the pharmaceutical, whoa, CVS, I mean, come on. Like, none of that's yeah, I'll give my money to that. Oh, sure, I'll give my money to that. But the dude on the corner with the scheme, you can't help. So I'm just saying, get your mind right.
I have to confess, dude was extra fly. And he had this, I mean, he was like fly, had a nice new fresh hoodie on. I'm going into CVS. He goes, yeah, you could just give me a gift card, bring it out to me, and then I can go in there and get whatever I need. I was like, this dude is crazy. This dude is crazy. This was the first thing as soon as I got, I couldn't do it. He had the bag to read. He was chilling. He had a whole bunch of everything.
These dudes is on the corner, straight up and down with clothes on, fresh.
No, I couldn't do it. Not him. I could anybody else. If he didn't mention it, I was gonna hit him off when I came out. But get you a whole gift card and I couldn't do it.
That's the Jedi mind trick.
And I was gonna get him.
No,
Dude.
you have to place that judgment. It's not every time you see these people, you got to give them something. But how is his scheme any different from El Pollo Loco? Or no, because you do get chicken back. Let me say, his scheme any different from the Buddhist monk,
Right.
or the minister, Christian minister asking for donation, or anyone who's just asking you, when the TV come on, and say donate to Ethiopia,
Right.
or save a whale, or give to disaster relief, you're not getting that money back.
Right, but no, to me it was the direction he gave.
Oh yeah,
and it was like, just go in there,
right.
Get me a gift card, and then I'll take it and I'll go back in and get whatever I want.
Right.
It was like, wait a minute.
You what?
Yeah, no, you pimping me right now in my mind. No, that's not happening.
Right.
But no, he said, if you can you please? Sure, no problem.
You might have been persuaded.
Yeah, no, he'd have got blessed.
Wow.
Got blessed. Easy.
That's interesting. And maybe a please and a thank you does. See, that's part. See, and what we're doing here is we might be creating. People might don't run out there and start you. Don't try this at home. You get out there with a please and a thank you and make 10 G's at the end of the day. Like that's crazy. Don't try this at home. This particular lesson, I'm just trying to bring your consciousness to mercy and where you place your mercy and how your mercy is placed. Now, we just dwelled on that for a period. So let me just continue on with that, because mercy is very important, especially when you're walking this path, when you're walking a spiritual path, you're trying to walk a divine path. That means your consciousness has to be more broader than the everyday average person who just judges according to law, state law, government law. They have to be told what to do because they're not cloaked in this character that automatically does what it's supposed to do, especially in civilized society. So purpose, mercy, peace, charity, love, understanding, truth, discipline, inspiration. And each one of these, I could spend another hour on each one of these. Wisdom, gratefulness. That'll get the money out your pocket too. You being grateful. Get somebody else the money. Self-sacrifice. This is my moment of self-sacrifice. I'm going to give him half of what I got, and I don't even know this dude, and I know he's pimping me. Can you rise to that level? I've had too many times to be when I realize I am the center of something. That this person over here, everybody's going to eat, but there's two people that's using you. You know it. But if they don't get to use you, these other people don't get to eat either. It disrupts everything. So you allow these two people to use. You let the scam go by because of a broader understanding. Difficult place to be. Only those with those attributes, clothed in purpose, all the way down to self-sacrifice, can stand still in the midst of life's storms, changes, temptations. That's what we mean when we say storms, changes, temptations. These are the designer labels of our everlasting God. For only divine clothing can withstand the various storms of life. Divine clothing withstands the storms of life. For when it is sunny and warm, meaning that everything is going your way, such a season is not to be used to relax and indulge in the pleasures of the world. Such a season is always used to prepare for those rainy days. And such preparation is not done in fear. Such preparation is done with an understanding that all worldly relationships, validations, rewards, and opportunities are indeed temporary. This is the point. All worldly validation is temporary. I got a bunch of gold records in storage right now. And those who who have these awards and Grammys and all of this type of stuff, you know that after 10 years, it's stupid. It's useless. Your career ain't done no better. You ain't no place different. You still got to work. You still got to put another album out. Like, you know, so it's not, you know, what did the platinum plaque mean now? What did the gold plaque? Remember we used to get these gold and platinum plaques in the 90s? What does this mean now? Nothing. It's useless. That whole RIAA, Recording Industry Association of America, they used to rate our albums with billboards out of here, RIA out of here, all the plaques out of here. The whole system that created that just no longer exists. Now we sitting with these plaques. They validated us in the 90s, took our money and gave us these fake gold and platinum. They're not real either. They're spray painted gold. Okay, and it's not even your album in the plaque. It's some throwaway album that they just spray paint gold and put your label on it. You got to know what's real to know what's valuable. Attuned hip hoppers, I'm on paragraph 13 on page 316. Attuned hip hoppers preserve their health, love, awareness, and wealth during those sunny and warm seasons in preparation for the inevitable storms, changes to come. Now notice what we are preparing for, because it says, notice in 12, for when it is sunny and warm, meaning that everything's going your way, such a season is not to be used to relax and indulge in the pleasures of the world. Then come down here, it says, attuned hip hoppers preserve their health, love, awareness, and wealth during those sunny and warm seasons in preparation for the inevitable storms, changes to come. So what are you actually doing? It's not that you're not indulging in the pleasures. Of course, you're indulging in pleasure as you see fit. But it's during the sunny days that everything's going your way that you don't overindulge. And the way not to overindulge is to not indulge at all. To actually store up your pleasure in the sunny days when you can enjoy it, for when those other days come and now you need to enjoy it. And so the things you enjoy, get in the habit of saving them, storing them, so that when these other seasons come, you can pull out what really truly makes you happy. And these are tools for happiness, tools for joy, but it's a discipline. And that's the point. So what are we really preserving? What's the gauge of your pleasure? How do you reel back from pleasures or indulge in pleasures? Attuned hip hoppers preserve their health. That's when you know you going over, is with your health, love, how you treating people, how you feel in your own heart, and how others are treating you. Your awareness, do you know what's going on? And your wealth, how much you spending, what's your well-being like? You're all around. And of course, you're spending. Your value, I should say, but you're spending in this context. We are preserving health, love, awareness, and wealth during those sunny and warm seasons in preparation for the inevitable storms, changes to come. After a while, the storms do not even affect the attuned hip hop's H law. With wisdom, the attuned hip hopper sees that it is during those rainy days that the people of the world are fed. It's during the rainy days. And that's how nature feeds all of life. And when it rains, that's when everybody's eating. So in fact, from a natural point of view, when it rains, that's the sunny season. When it's raining, we're all eating. This is the sunny season. When the sun comes out, we're all burning. Even plants that turn the sunlight into photosynthesis, and grow from that, they got to use that in a certain way, in a sparingly way, because the sun will also burn that which it is also feeding. Same thing with water, will drown that which it is also taking the thirst away from. And this is how nature does you: balance, moderation, ma'at, as they say, justice. Not too much of this, not too much of that. The middle way, as the Buddhists speak of. For it is through challenges, changes, and disappointments that the people of the world gain wisdom. And this is the truth. That those storms, that's when you are growing, if you can withstand them. And how do you withstand them? By keeping purpose, mercies, peace, charity. For it is through challenges, changes, and disappointments that the people of the world gain wisdom. For it is the storms of life that humble and teach the people of the world, which includes us, but we're not only that. However, spirit beings, which is us, remain still and protected in the most terrifying and difficult of life's storms. For they are not taught or fed during the stormy seasons or during the sunny seasons. They are taught or fed by an acknowledgement of the truth, which comes to everyone first, but is rejected by those who value the world more than they do their own God. Actually, spirit beings find opportunity in the very midst of the storm. While others attempt to run from the storm or fight the storm or criticize the storm, spirit beings find their opportunities within the storm. For true power is not granted through conquest and takeovers. It actually falls into the laps of those prepared to catch it. True power, let's say true power, is not taken and grabbed. It's granted. It comes with a high level of respect. Those who take by force prove that they were unprepared to freely receive what they have stolen. You couldn't get it, so you took it. Whatever they took, they did not truly earn, and it is not theirs to keep. It shall return to its rightful owner. For true power is given when God upsets the normal order of human civilization, causing shifts in public demand, which causes a redistribution or reallocation of worldly wealth and influence. Everyone eventually gets an opportunity to govern their world. You know what? Let's highlight 17 real quick. 17. Because I don't want to breeze over this part. For true power is given when God, and notice the spelling, upsets the normal order of human civilization, causing shifts in public demand, which causes a redistribution or reallocation of worldly wealth and influence. That was the coronavirus. Listen to this. True power is given when God upsets the normal order of human civilization, causing shifts in public demand, which causes a redistribution or reallocation of worldly wealth and influence. These are changing right now. But are you stuck in one mind state, or can you seize the moment? The storms are happening right now. COVID ravaged countries, businesses, industries. Or did it? Was there an opportunity in there somewhere? Some people are saying, of course it was. Others can't see it. Who are you? Everyone eventually gets an opportunity to govern their world. The question is, what are you prepared for? That's why we're highlighting this. How shall you govern? Even the sunny days are temporary. See, this is leadership. How are you governing? How are you going to govern? With a knowledge of life's seasons, we know that it is always some unexpected turn of events that changes everything and opens doors that did not even exist before. That's the whole COVID. We just went through this whole thing, okay? And for those in the future that are studying this in the future, just remember, or maybe you don't remember, but the COVID disease changed everything. It's similar to the way 9/11, September 11th, when the planes flew into the Trade Center, changed everything. Changed everything. We don't think about it because we're just going along. But we used to live a different life from 1999 back. 2000 came in, planes went through the building. The whole country changed. The normal order of how things are getting done changed. We just grew into it now. We got used to it. But everything changed. Then now, this pandemic changed everything. But there is opportunities when things change. When things change, there's opportunities. If you could see it, if you even need it. Some don't even need it. So, we talk, include them in this conversation too. But for those that need opportunity, now's the time to seek your opportunity. That place you didn't think you could be, or that place that person you didn't think you could speak to, or that movie, I don't know, whatever it is. Now's the time to speak up for it because things are different. And people are looking for ways to bounce back. They're looking for new ideas. Ideas rule. I think I heard Biden say this. Or no, was it? No, Barack Obama actually in one of his speeches, recent speech, this is after his presidency, recent speech he just gave about ideas. About ideas. That's what's ruling right now. Ideas. People need new ideas. If you got a fresh idea, make a proposal out of it. Hand it to somebody. Here's my proposal. I have an idea to make this whole situation better. Bouncing back after COVID, people need, like I imagine they say there's a shortage of workers right now. This is the greatest time, not to become the worker, but to actually become a different kind of worker. Like this is the greatest time to walk into those companies and take them over, basically. Take them over. And I'm saying this, respectfully. I'm not trying to say, go in with some hostility taking over a company. But I'm saying if there's not enough workers and you got a way to organize something, like it takes 10 workers to do something, but you walk in and you can organize it for 3 workers. You become a manager of that particular situation. You're not walking in asking for a job. You're walking in giving a solution. You're offering a solution. It's a different level of employment when you go in begging for a job as opposed to demanding that a solution be met. And so just take that in.
It seems like it's happening every 20 years.
What?
This type of change.
Every 20 years.
20 years, 2000, 9/11, 20 years before in the 80s, computers.
Computers changed everything.
Right. 20 years before that, civil rights.
20 years before that.
The 1940s.
The television.
Right. And then before that.
The radio.
Yeah. And the stock exchange.
The stock crashing and the New Deal.
Right.
You might want to do a little research on that. I think it'll come up to every 10 years, possibly.
Probably.
It might be quicker. It might with that kind of research.
Right.
But the 20 is definitely capturing moments where you can actually even predict. Right. I'm on paragraph 18. I'm reading it again. It's important. With the knowledge of life's seasons, we know that it is always some unexpected turn of events that changes everything and opens doors that did not even exist before. Therefore, stay true to your purpose in life. Perform patience. Notice the perform patience. Go back to your divine performance. No matter how humble or grand, be true to your life's purpose. No matter how humble or grand, be true to your life's purpose and envy not the achievement of others. Again, no matter how humble or grand your life purpose is, no matter how humble it is or how grand it is, be true to your life purpose. That's living. That's living. If you know your life purpose is a butler, the best butler. In fact, there's a movie called The Butler that expresses this. If you know that your best, like me, I like to clean. Okay, just some personal stupidity with me, but I'll bring it out as an example. If I wasn't rapping or teaching, I would probably have a cleaning service. So others would look down on that and say, cleaning, a janitor, or cleaning somebody's house. And I can see where you would think that's a menial job, cleaning toilets and unclogging sinks and, cleaning stuff, throw up and all of that. But I get a kick out of restoration when something's destroyed and we restore it. The feeling I get after the restoration, I live for that. For the restoration, for the rehabilitation of. So it leads me into a cleaning situation. And in the cleaning situation, others may look down on that and say, cleaning, I don't know. But I find my opportunity right there. This is what I mean by a humble situation. If that was my calling in life, be the best at it. Millions, if not billions, is made in cleaning service industry. Now that COVID is here too, do you know what the cleaning industry is doing right now? Okay, they are quietly getting money, right quietly. Nobody talking about sanitation right now. And cleaning. And how important it is for your environment to be disinfected and cleaned. Salaries have gone up now for cleaners. Come on now, there's a whole industry out there. And it's like, where are you looking? I just want to be the biggest and the best. I just want to be him. I want you to see me. That's not living. I'm a recording artist. I'm KRS-ONE. No, it's not living. Living is, yo, KRS, I got this building and we got to get it cleaned. And I don't have the skills. I'm going to hire this person. They're going to charge me $7,500 to get this building cleaned. What do you think we should do? I think you should give me $5 of that. And I'll do it my damn self. I got my crew. We got our cleaning stuff. We want to do this, and I want your 5Gs. So let's go. Yeah. And KRS will come and clean your house. I don't want to start no bullshit. Oh, crazy. Yo, don't start commenting on this. But I'm telling you something real. This is real. And I'm bringing it to that real level where, imagine, it's a whole nother industry. Celebrity house cleaning. What? We making this up right here. This is hip hop. This is how it's a celebrity house cleaning. When a celebrity comes by with a team and cleans your house. I mean, that's a whole different industry. There's a whole thing. But that's what the point is. We're thinking. And when you think in terms of opportunity in the middle of the storm, you come up with ideas like this. You know what? I'm sitting here thinking I might have to just cut this whole thing off. Because I'm actually thinking a celebrity clean real quick, run up in your crib for the money, and I'm cleaning your house. Or whatever, a room, whatever. You can turn it to car wash, celebrity car wash. Come on now, celebrity babysitting. Where, you know what I'm saying? You come to the crib. And for those that can afford it, you get to have the celebrity come right to your crib and do it right there like that. I mean, we already do this in terms of teaching. I don't talk about it much anymore because I'm not in that mode right now. But usually, not usually, I at times in our teaching, I have put out that I'll come to your house. For a nominal fee. I've gone to people's houses for no money, just within the teaching. You just go to people's houses, land there, start teaching, and they bring their friends over and this kind of thing. And it's a really nice setting in that sense. To have somebody of celebrity status come to your house, you invite your friends over, and it's just a private situation. That happens all the time. I do those parties too. So most recording artists, you do the wedding, the bar mitzvah, the private party, the birthday party, the this. But stretch that out. You can stretch that concept out to house cleaning, watching kids, walking dogs. Like, what do you really want to do? Chef. Come and cook that meal, celebrity chef. Yo, dude, we're giving too much. And that's not don't try this at home. That's actually try this at home. Kind of thing. So no matter how humble or grand, be true to your life's purpose and envy not the achievement of others. Get into what you into. And broaden it out, sprinkle it out, make it whatever the best it can be. This is living. This is living. And of course, my example was a janitor because people tend to look down on that. I've lived that my whole life. When I was coming up, I mopped floors for a living. I used to get $25 every time I hit the floor. I waxed the floor, mop it. I was doing a nursery center. It's a long story. Anyway, and also in the shelter, I volunteered to clean up the kitchen in the shelter. These be volunteer situations going on in that. So no matter how other people's achievements are, don't get into that looking at what other people got and forgetting who you are and what you got. Make what you got the God. For the material world is truly temporary. Therefore, do not become aggravated, angry, worried, or disappointed with those who appear to be in worldly power today. For in a minute they shall be in power no more, and the effects of their temporary power and prestige shall also fade away. We have seen this too many times. This is a different lesson. This is about wasting your time talking about other people because they in power. They're the thing right now. So you wasting your time talking about them and what they not doing, what they should be doing. We do it with the presidents and we do it with this, talking about these people and what they should be doing and what they not. You wasting your time in this particular context. For the material world is truly temporary. Therefore, do not become aggravated or angry or worried or disappointed with those who appear to be in worldly power today. For in a minute they shall be in power no more, and the effects of their temporary power and prestige shall also fade away. We have seen this too many times. Not that we wish harm or failure upon anyone. Such is not the character of an attuned hip-hopper. Make sure you're clear with that. However, it is a fact that the world and worldly circumstances are indeed temporary. That's the issue. For those that chase after the pleasures, powers, and items of the world, chase after things that are temporary in their very existence. Be still. Be committed to your life purpose and perform patience with your own life purpose. It is inevitable that your day will come again. Stay focused. And notice that line. It is inevitable that your day will come again. Because these are seasons. They come, they go. They come, they go. Most people believe that when good things happen to them, it'll never happen again. And they believe that when bad things happen to them, it's going to happen again. You got to switch that and begin to know that when good things happen, they're going to happen again. Because that's what nature's about. When bad things happen, they don't happen again unless you cause them to happen again. Bad things only happen one time in your life. And look at the bad things that have happened in your life. They only happened once. They didn't repeat unless you are in a situation where that's the case. That's a different thing. But here in this context, we're talking about the circumstances that come to your life, the challenges that come to your life. They come and they go. So realize that when the challenge comes to your life, you're going through one right now. That's why we're reading this. The challenge that goes through your life, realize that that's not your whole life, and you're not going to be stuck with that challenge forever. It's going to go away. But you got to know that so that you can make the right decisions in the midst of the storm. The storm's not going to be there forever, just like the sunny days ain't there forever. So stay focused. I'm on paragraph 21, page 318 now. For in the reality of the material world, everything is deteriorating. You get that? Everything is deteriorating. Every material thing, every physical structure requires maintenance for its continued existence in the material world. Everything material, every material thing requires maintenance to keep it up. And that proves that it's not real. Real things are indestructible. They're real. Anything that's not real is an illusion. And so it comes and goes. Because it's not real. It's animated by some other cause. Something else is causing it. It in and of itself is not real. And that's why the world is not real. The earth is real. The world is the activities of human beings. It's not real. What's real is the earth, the ground, the trees, the air. Earth is real. The world is fake. I don't even know any other way to say it, but I say it respectfully. We live in the world. So, but realize what I'm saying to you. The world is not real. It's a temporary thing. Things are flashing before you. But because the flash stays up for a month, you say it's real, and then it fades away. If you could see in divine time, you would see that these things are just flashing. The car, today I have a Mercedes. I had it for 5 years. Then it broke down. I got rid of it. Got another car. That was just one flash in your life. Poof, Mercedes. Poof, BMW. Poof, Ford. Poof, something else. Or Mercedes. Poof, bike. Poof, walking. Poof. These are flashing like that. But because we're in time, it appears that these things are permanent and they're going to be with us for a long time. For in the reality of the material world, everything is deteriorating. Every material thing, every physical structure requires maintenance for its continued existence in the material world. Nothing physical is permanent. And likewise, every person that holds worldly power today will not hold such power tomorrow. And those who have not worldly power today shall indeed have an abundance of such tomorrow. For this is the way of the world. Be prepared when it is your turn to govern. Treat all people with respect when you are in power, and they shall remember you and your children. Let's underline that. Let's underline that. Not the whole paragraph. Let's start with be prepared when it is your turn to govern. Treat all people with respect when you are in power, and they shall remember you and your children. This line is so important because it speaks to leadership, not just in a national way or in a cultural way. These speaking to cultural leaders, not our hip hop nation leaders. Not only does it speak to that, but it speaks to whatever you're governing, your business, your family, yourself. Whatever you're governing, be prepared when it is your turn to govern. So you're criticizing everybody else, but can you do better is the real question. Be prepared when it is your turn to govern. Treat all people with respect when you are in power, and they shall remember you and your children. And that remember points to your respect, your reputation, your lineage, your heritage, what happens after you're out of power. Hip-hoppers who hold worldly power, prestige, and or popularity should never forget that such powers are indeed temporary. Don't forget that. That when it is sunny and warm, one should be prepared for rainy and cold, and vice versa. For those who praise you today shall curse you tomorrow, and those who curse you today shall praise you tomorrow. Therefore, focus not upon the praises, the criticisms, or the curses of the world, for they are truly powerless. That's the word, powerless. Instead, focus only upon the truth of your God animating your purpose. Indeed, you are a projection of the universe itself. You are what the universe is doing right now. Your existence and purpose are part of the balance of the entire universe. Know this. It is of extreme importance to the unfolding of the universe that you be your true self. It's important not just to you, but to the universe that you be your true self. This call that we are on right now, it is important to the universe that we are doing this call. Realize that. It's important to beings and consciousness other than us. It's important to them that this goes down. They can see more than we can see, but they can see the importance of this happening. I mean, get into this mind state. Don't limit your mind to what the TV is telling you is possible. Like the TV telling you this is possible. The TV telling you this is real. The internet telling you what's real and what's possible. That's not the truth. There's so much more to the world and to the earth and to you than can be imagined, than even can be imagined. Imagine that. Like you get to start imagining that, you start broadening your awareness that everything is possible. There's nothing that is not possible. Everything is possible. Everything. Like sit on that for a minute. Sit on that for a minute. Sit on that for a minute. There are no limitations. We live in an unlimited universe. Why are we limited then? Somebody's putting a limitation on us. The earth is unlimited. The earth itself is not bound. It is unlimited. It actually floats in boundlessness. Well, Einstein says it is sitting on gravity. But the earth it's free. It's boundless. You are a product of the earth. You're not a product of the world. The world is limited, but the earth is not. And when you become that earth thing, you become unlimited as well. That earth thing, you become unlimited as well. But right now, most people are a world thing. The world is what tells them what's going on and who they are and why they are and what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. The world dictates to them what it is. And again, some people need that. So we ain't criticizing or judging. If that's you, then that's you. But there's others of us who I'm speaking to here today that are earth people. We operate in the world. We know what the world is about. But we got someplace else to go. Whereas others are trapped in the prison. We are the wardens and the COs. Or more accurately, we're more like the people who feed the prison. You know, the people who service the prison. We come in and serve this food. We stock the prison. It's like that, but we leave. We leave, okay? Y'all stay there, okay, in the prison with the warden, who's also a prisoner, with the CO, who's also a prisoner. Y'all stay there with the prisoners, and there it is. We come in and we deliver the food and whatever else, we fix the machines, and so on, and then we leave. And to be honest with you, we only come when we're called too. So this analogy that I'm giving you, this parable that I'm giving, I'm hoping you're seeing the symbol of it in there. See yourself in that as well. The world is limiting. The world is limiting, and it's limiting even up to being a prison. It doesn't get there first. That's the extreme of it. But the world is limiting. It limits you. The earth is unlimited. Unlimited. You could do anything in earth. And that has its extremes too. You can kill people in earth. You can eat people in earth. Rob people in earth. The earth is free. Okay? The extreme of that can get crazy too. But the earth offers you, even in that, you can be unrobbable, unedible. The earth produces creatures that cannot be eaten. The earth, the porcupines, the thing, nobody want to eat that. Certain lizards and stuff, you eat them and you're dead, basically. Nature is unlimited. Unlimited. So get back to the earth and try to don't let the world dictate reality to you. Let the earth dictate a little more of the reality to you. The earth is real. The world is fake. I'm coming up on the end of this particular read, this study, taking it up to the 3-hour mark, and then we're going to cut and continue this read, obviously, next week. But I want to get over to this other piece, which is very important before we conclude. Let me finish this up. There's another piece over here that I have to get to before we conclude. So let's go through it. So you've underlined within paragraph 21, this last piece. Be prepared when it is your turn to govern. Treat all people with respect when you are in power, and they shall remember you and your children. Hip-hoppers hold worldly power, prestige, hip-hoppers that hold worldly power, prestige, and or popularity should never forget that such powers are indeed temporary. And that was written in the 90s, too. Keep that in mind. Dude did not get it. I wrote a song called "Do You Ever Think About When You Out of Here?" Fly girl, fresh gear, out of here. I tried to say it in that song, like this stuff is temporary. And we could see that from previous artists. This one fell off. That one couldn't maintain. This one, what about us then going into the future? Some people saw it, some people didn't, but whatever. Here we go. That when it is sunny and warm, one should be prepared for rainy and cold, and vice versa. For those who praise you today shall curse you tomorrow, and those who curse you today shall praise you tomorrow. You know what that's about. Therefore, focus not upon the praises, the criticisms, or the curses of the world, for they are truly powerless. And again, that's the word. Instead, focus only upon the truth of your God animating your purpose. Indeed, you are a projection of the universe itself. You are what the universe is doing right now. Your existence and purpose are part of the balance of the entire universe. Know this. It is of extreme importance to the unfolding of the universe that you be your true self. It's not just not to be a hypocrite or fake to yourself, but we need you to be your true self. As mentioned throughout this gospel, the most important practice attuned hip-hoppers can do for themselves is to actually be themselves. After that is achieved, one must literally become one's own best friend. Now, this is where we get into this real quick, and I don't want to be too long with it, but this is what this is the lesson I want to leave you with. This is what is on the internet called this is the rock star lecture. Some people call it that. The fifth dimension lecture. Other people call it that. You can refer to that after reading this. They're all the same kinds. They're in the same philosophical folder. We're talking about the mind and its use of time. Not use of time, but the mind and time.
The second coming of Christ is the newest title.
Of what?
of this lecture?
What, is that just happened?
Yeah, the Pete Rock put it up. Yes, it's circulated.
Well, there it is. And you are the second comer. We're going to get into that. 25, I'm at paragraph 25 on page 319. Get this. Now, it's a different lesson. Now, we're moving forward here. You must realize rather quickly that and wait a minute, let me say this. What we're coming off of is the last one of 24. 24 ends this lesson. I'm speaking to the teachers now. I'm speaking to those who are going to teach this. Okay, 24 ends that whole lesson about the seasons of life. That lesson ends at paragraph 24. And a new lesson begins about the seasons now. So I just want to make that clear. You may want to make a note to that. This is a new lesson. And and the gist of the lesson is one must literally become one's own best friend. This is about being a friend to your future self. I freestyle these rhymes. This is sort of one of the cores of my own teachings is be a friend to your future self. It worked for me, and that's what I teach. I am the manifestation of my 16-year-old self. I'm the manifestation of my 25-year-old self. My 33-year-old self looked out for my 56-year-old self. My 56-year-old self is looking out for my 70-year-old self, my 65-year-old self. I'm thinking right, eating right, living right, at least I think I am, to the best of my ability in respect to my 65-year-old self, not in fear, but in respect. I want my friend who is me at 65 to live right and to be right at 65. So I'm trying to do what it takes today to be a friend to my future self. I've been practicing this since I was about 13 years old, and it wasn't articulated like this. Back then, we just called it creative visualization, and they had you trying to get houses and cars with your mind. But I went a little deeper into it and said, no, there's something to be said about time and the mind, that the mind is outside of time. And you are your 16-year-old self right now. And you are your 75-year-old self right now. It is time and space that's making us believe that we are 30, 40, 50, 60. These are arbitrary numbers. They don't really exist. They're not real. What's real is that there's really only one day, and it's split into two experiences, light and dark. Monday is an illusion. There's no difference between Monday and Tuesday in the universe. There's no difference between Monday and Tuesday. That's just what we say. Wednesday don't exist. These are social constructs. And if you allow social constructs to lead your mind, you become, the world means more to you than reality. And reality is the earth and spirit. Should I say consciousness, awareness is real. It's real. And it's more real than the world. So you got to become your own best friend. That's the point. You must realize rather quickly that the 20-year-old you has depended upon the 10-year-old you for its very survival. Just think about that. The 20-year-old you depended upon the 10. Let me read on. For its very survival. And the 30-year-old you is depending upon the 20-year-old you for its very survival. And the 40-year-old you is depending upon the 30-year-old you for its survival. As an example, Just think for a moment about the decisions that you made, as well as the decisions that were made for you at just 10 years of age. Whether you were conscious or unconscious of the decisions made at 10 years of age, they have nonetheless had a profound effect upon your life at 20 years of age. And yes, the decisions that you possibly made at 20 years of age will have and have had a profound effect upon the well-being of your life at 30 years of age. In fact, if you are 30 years of age now, for example, it was the 10, 15, 20, and even 25-year-old you that was actually more important to your survival at 30 years of age than your 30-year-old self is right now, or your 30-year-old self is now. Like your 10, 15, 20, and 25-year-old self is more important or was more instrumental to you being 30 right now than you being 30 right now. You being 30 right now is the result of wise decisions at 10, 15, and 20. For if the 10, 15, 20, and 25-year-old you did not make the right decisions, it is likely that the 30-year-old you is suffering for it today. And we all got a suffering. That, some stupidness we was doing in our childhood that we paying for in the adulthood. It's temporary, but you paying. For it is not only the you of today that is responsible for your well-being and status in life today. It is more that your past self is responsible for your total well-being right now, and that at this very moment you are the manifested thoughts of your past self. Right now, okay? Do you like what you have created so far? The future you is truly depending upon you today to make the right decisions for its well-being and social status tomorrow. This is what it means to be a friend to your own self. Do not wait until you're 40, 50, or even 60 years of age to ponder how stupid and careless you may have lived your life at 20, 25, 30, and 35 years of age. Grab hold of yourself. That's me. That's me. Forgive me. Grab hold of yourself. Like, you don't realize how real this is right now, okay? Grab hold of your life now. Perform responsibility now. Achieve your purpose now. Be your own best friend now. Do not become stagnated by your own unconsciousness. Notice how the gospel is beginning to speak a vocabulary that temple members now should know. We went over this at the front of the book, and now we're going into it using words like unconsciousness and others. However, it gets even deeper than this. Yes, you may understand how your past self has affected you today, but consider the idea that your future self can also affect you today. Being your own best friend includes the concept of being your own guardian angel. Consider the seventh sense, where there is neither time nor space, where everything is actually one thing, where the concept of time simply does not exist. Everything is here and now. And this is what we call a seventh sense. You at 10 years of age and you at 70 years of age exist right now at whatever age you believe yourself to be today. Consider your mind a time-traveling device that can take you far into your so-called past as well as far into your so-called future. All of you at different ages exist together as one being right now. This means that if you are truly aware that time does not govern your mind, the 70-year-old you can literally act as the spiritual guardian of the 20 or 30-year-old you Now, you can begin at 20 years of age, for example. This is the exercise here. We may highlight this. Matter of fact, not may. Let's just highlight it. Paragraph 33. And go ahead and get 34 too. 33 and 34. Let's look at this. This is a technique. I'm delivering it to you now. I practiced this when I was 13 and it worked. You can begin at 20 years of age, for example, visualizing yourself watching over, protecting, and guiding your 15-year-old self. This would mean, let me say this again, because I know that went over. Hold up. You can begin at 20 years of age, for example, visualizing yourself watching over, protecting, and guiding your 15-year-old self. This would mean that when you were physically 15 years of age, the mind of the 20-year-old you actually did look out for the body of the 15-year-old you. This would explain a lot of the miraculous things that happened to you during your teenage years. It would be because the future versions of you, which is you right now, learned of this technique and applied it. This goes so deep because this is about time travel, and humanity is going to get to this. We're going to get to this because all them UFOs you see and all of that, that's us. We figured out time travel. That's not only us. There's other beings in the universe. But some of these beings that are coming back, it's us in the future. We figured out time travel and came back to make sure we got there in that sense. But this is the core of the technique. And you first do it with your mind. You know, remember, everything that science and technology is doing is an imitation of the mind. You first can do all of this with your own being first. Then technology imitates it and science confirms it.
And the body.
And the body.
Its organs and everything. That is how we get in all of this.
Right. Righteousness, the body itself. But here we're talking about the mind as a time traveling machine. Or just a time traveling thing. A time traveling experience. Try to understand this. Read the previous paragraph again slowly. That's why we are highlighting it, okay? Slowly to really understand what is being taught here. If you begin to regularly visualize yourself guiding and protecting the younger versions of yourself today, like right now, you say, you're in your 30s. Let's say you're in your 30s, okay? If you start today visualizing, like every 7 days, let's say, you take that moment to visualize yourself at 25 or 29. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like, just go back on your past through your memory and be there with yourself. Be there with yourself. Be there with the 15-year-old you. The moments when you thought you was going to die, stand there with yourself and say, no, you're not. I got you. You made it. Give yourself confidence. And if you do that, it's a mind bender because you may realize then that this happened when you were young because you realize this technique went back on yourself and brought yourself to this lecture right here. Like, how did you get here? Maybe you heard your future self told you to come here. There's a scientific term called the ambidextrous universe, that time goes not just forward, but backwards. It's all called time reversal symmetry. That time is not just forward, the events happen and they go in both directions. We're just programmed to go forward. But the events in time affect the whole scope of time. The present affects the past and the future. So try to understand this. Read the previous paragraph again slowly to really understand what is being taught here. If you begin to regularly visualize yourself guiding and protecting the younger versions of yourself today, then by continuing this practice for the duration of your physical life, your 70-year-old self, as an example, is guiding you and protecting you right now. Just as you are appearing to your 15-year-old self as its guardian angel today, so it is that your 70-year-old self is appearing to you now if you continue this practice into your future. So my 60-year-old self is visualizing that on me right now. So my 60-year-old mind is with me right now, especially if I remember to do this at 60. And I mentioned 60 because I have a rhyme in Madism with Channel Live. So I'm like, ripping the microphone till I'm motherfucking 60, smoking the Indo by the window, it's stinky. And then Hakeem comes in. But I say I'm ripping the microphone till I'm 60. So is 60 my cutoff day? Do I retire at 60, put the mic down at 60? I don't know about that.
No, you write another rhyme.
I write another rhyme to confirm. I said 60, but I really mean 80. Anyway, but I mention that because when I do turn 60, I do have a visualization that goes back to 1994, and I want to stand with myself at 60 writing the rhyme in 1994. I do want to do that. So I have this waiting for me at 60. I will be going back to my 1994 self, which was where I wrote the record, and stand next to me saying, say those rhymes. This is the rhymes I want you to say. This is what I want you to say. And so I will be standing next to myself at 60 like that. I do these things with my being, and they work. That's why I'm teaching it. I'm trying to impart this to our culture because it works. It works. If something works, it works. So realize this. Realize that your mind is not trapped in time. Your body is. But the mind is what makes things real. And so if you can go back into your past, be your own guardian angel. In fact, give yourself credit for yourself. You don't have to go to somebody else's guardian angel. You don't have to praise somebody else's spiritual leadership and this, that, and the other. You are your spiritual leadership. You are your own guardian angel. Use your mind. Take yourself back. Go to your parents. Go to your friends. Go to people. Help them with your mind. Go to them. This probably was the original purpose of prayer, probably, to project yourself to other areas of reality that are real and have effects. You know, go back and heal yourself of the sickness that you had when you were sick. Go back and heal yourself. I always go back in meditation and heal myself of things. You say, okay, I may have went to the doctor, may have got something, or I may have just overcome it on my own with some herbs and so on, you know, so, but I also do go back and have my guardian angel stand over me. I do go back and bring me at a healthier state to my past self when I wasn't so healthy and said, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. The future me is here with you. And I'm good right now. That was just a momentary lapse of some stupidness. You ate something, tempted, went, ate, whatever it is. And now your stomach or whatever, you contracted something, you got a cold, whatever. But here I am, the future. And we got over it. And it was cool. And everything worked out. It's important that you go back and tell yourself that. It's important that you go back and be the guardian angel to yourself. So highlight 33 and 34. Here's 35. I'm going to finish this page and then we'll conclude. This means that the decisions that you make in the future are also affecting your life now. The decisions you're making in the future are affecting you now. There's a guy, scientist called Brian Greene. Brian Greene wrote a couple of dope books. I'm trying to remember his books. I can't remember them now, but some of you could just talk about them. Some of you could do that. But Brian Greene has a few books. I'll get you the titles later. But he talks about this. He talks about this about how the universe actually functions, and it's crazy.
I got some.
What you got?
The Elegant Universe.
The Elegant Universe. That's a big one.
Until the End of Time.
There's another one.
The Hidden Reality.
That one. The Hidden Reality. What's another one?
The Fabric of the Cosmos.
That's another one. I have about 3 of his books. I have The Fabric and the other one, The Elegant Universe. But there was another one.
The Laws of Human Nature.
No. This dude has a bunch of books, okay? But Brian Greene talks about how dynamic and magnificent the universe actually is, like the stuff that we know to be the case. Like we're not dreaming it. Well, he does spit a lot of theories, no doubt, but he also lays down what we know to be the case. Like, experimentation, we can keep doing it. This is reliable. If you do this, this is going to happen. And the universe has spoken so much to scientists over the last 20 years, even like from 2000 to now. They've learned so much. It's just not a PBS special or written in a book yet. So we're now trapped in old understanding while these dudes is learning up to date every day. Like right now, a brand new discovery is just made, but we're never going to know it. 10 years, we got to wait. 20 years, we got to wait until somebody produces a television program. I mean, come on. Our learning cannot be like this. There's no way a culture or a nation is going to get built with us relying on TV for our knowledge. It's just no way. Okay, we're going to have to come up a little further than that. And that's what we're doing here today. We're learning how to think. We're learning how to apply our minds in places that are going to help with our development. That's what we're doing here today. So let's keep it moving. Let me start with 35 again. This means that the decisions that you make in the future are also affecting your life now, just as the decisions that you have made in the past are also affecting your life now. All things are one thing. In your 7th sense, at the deepest levels of your being, there are no separate places and there are no past, present, or future intervals of time. Everything is actually here and now. That's quantum mechanics all day. I keep referring to the film What the Bleep. But go back, what the bleep do we know? But go back and do your quantum mechanics studies at the deepest part of mathematical reality, at least. Let me throw that on it. That everything is here. Everything is here now. Space is the construct that makes us see individual things. The mind uses space to make a world, to make something happen, to make you see this as opposed to that, or don't see this and see that. This is all going on in your brain. It's going on in your mind. It's going on in the universe. The memories of your future self are the imaginations of your present self. Did you get that? Let's say it again. The memories of you in the future, okay, the memories of you in the future are the imaginations of you right now. This is the talk. The memories that the future has are your imaginations today. They didn't come. They have already experienced your imagination right now. Or I'm trying to say this. You have already experienced in the future your imagination today. So your imaginations today, what's going on in your mind today, is the memory of your future self. What memories are you giving your future? Gossip, scandal. This is what you're memorizing. This is what you're going to give to your future. Hate, deceit. I don't love. This is your memories. I only remember the bad. I only remember they robbed me. I only remember they killed. I only remember. Then you take that into your future, manifesting the reality of your own mind in your future. Take control of yourself.
That's a crazy print too. I don't know if you need to know that for the corrections.
What is that?
The memories of.
It's stuck together. Yeah. It's almost like one word. The memories. Yeah. Wow, is interesting. I wonder about that. The printing on that is weird. Mm-hmm. I'll leave it. No, I won't. Because in the next line, it's not like that. Read down, it says, and the memories of your present self. You see how separate the and memories are? Let's write that down as an error.
Because that's going to change pages or words being pushed down.
Yes, it probably is. Well, I don't know. Let's see. What we're doing is we're making notes at the beginning of paragraph 36. Sun One has declared that an error because the and the memories are too close together. Those that have the gospel, you can see that they are too close together, and that is an error. As I look further, the next sentence and the same two words are together, and you can see there's a bit of a space there, which is what it's supposed to be. So we're going to mark that as an error. It's a printing error, but we're going to mark that as one of the errors.
Okay, then I'm sorry. I'll go back to paragraph 19 on 317.
Let's go back to 19. What you looking at?
The therefore is missing a space before it.
Therefore, do not become aggravated?
Yes. It's not the double space after that period.
After temporarily.
Just notice there, like if you look at that perform, that's real space.
Yeah. I'm looking at the spaces temporary and power. I'm looking at temporary and power down at the end, and there's a space there, temporary period, and therefore there's no space there. But the T, the way the T is,
right,
is that making it look like that?
No, because if you look up in 17 where it says the question is, you can see the proper spacing.
This world and the question, yeah. Let's mark that as a printing error. We're going to page 19, And looking at that as a printing error. The paragraph is, for the material world is truly temporary. The space between temporary period and then the T of therefore are too close together.
Okay, now I'm seeing all types of shit.
Of course you are.
But no, look at 14.
14 is
this got mad spaces. 4.
Yeah.
It is.
Right.
Through.
Right.
Challenges.
Right. And you could tell that this was, in the computer, it does that. It actually does that. No, but some of these are blatantly too close or not further apart.
Right.
And no, we'll no, that should be marked and dealt with. Okay. Go back to paragraph 16. Let me finish this up. We are at the third hour mark. In fact, I'm at 3:03. Wow. The memories of your future self are the imaginations of your present self. And the memories of your present self are the imaginations of your past self. Did you get that? And the memories of your present self, what you're thinking, the memories that you have in your head right now, or in your being right now, the memories of your present self are the imaginations of your past self. Whatever you desire or are doing in the future is also affecting you now in your present. You can see who you are in the future by your desires today. This is why it is of extreme importance that you lead a virtuous life. Every thought and desire that you act upon in some way affects your total well-being in the so-called past, present, and future. So be careful with this technique. With your own mind, you could go into your own past with love, not judgment, and protect and guide the younger versions of yourself. Do not seek to change anything. Just give your younger self strength to arrive at your present self. Free yourself from the bondage of time. Learn through your seventh sense to manipulate the illusion of time in your life. Use your time wisely. Do not allow it to use you ignorantly. When you pray, pray not just for your future self, but pray also for your past self. And when you meditate, meditate upon the victory of your youth. Give yourself the habit of watching over the younger versions of yourself with the wisdom and understanding that you have acquired today. There is no time. You could be 5 years of age or 50 years of age right now. If you continue this practice of praying and or meditating back onto yourself for the duration of your physical life, then indeed the future you is correcting, guiding, and protecting you right now with what you have yet to learn. Remember, the 16-year-old you cannot actually see the experiences of the 60-year-old you. But the 60-year-old you can see the experiences of the 16-year-old you. Let your future self advise you. The 16-year-old you, now aware of this gospel, must listen out for the warnings and inspiration of the 60-year-old you. And likewise, the 16-year-old you must be a friend, even a servant, to the 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60-year-old you. This is also the essence of a disciplined hip-hop life: self-creation, self-control, and self-direction. Let's go ahead and underline that in the paragraph 40. It's just the last one. This is also the essence of this is also the essence of a disciplined hip hop life: self-creation, self-control, self-direction. Self-creation, self-control, self-direction. The attuned hip hopper who is self-created, self-directed, and in control of one's cravings is rarely depressed, insecure, or confused. The attuned hip hopper commands the environment she enters, not by force, but by spiritual character. But by the spiritual character she openly displays. For this reason, the attuned hip hopper is safe wherever she goes. She is rarely insecure or confused within her environment because, in fact, she is no longer living within her environment. Her environment is now within her. In other words, most people feel vulnerable within their own environments as well as foreign environments because they lack the ability to influence the happenings of either. You enter environments you feel you ain't got no control over. Things are going on in their environment which they believe they have no control over. This causes all kinds of insecurities, worries, and doubts. However, if you are to have any victory over the chaotic happenings of your own environment, as well as the environment that you may enter, then you must be able to exert some kind of influence over the happenings of such environments. This kind of influence over one's physical environment begins with the ability to project your own mind through spirit beyond the confinement of your own insecurities, doubts, and fears, and onward toward truth. For when the hip hopper lives in doubt and in ignorance of his higher self, the law or way of the universe confines that hip hopper to his lower self. The one who has not even tried to perfect himself shall never go beyond the confinement of himself. Fear, doubt, selfishness, and spiritual ignorance turns one's own mind against one's own self and confines such a person to the prison of his own perceptions. The true hip hopper must make an effort to complete himself if he desires to exert any real influence beyond himself. An incomplete person is unable to direct himself. It is like having a broken leg or a broken wing. Only a self-directed person can get to where he needs to be. Everyone else is drifting or being directed by the intentions and influences of others. Very simply, when you gain control of yourself, you shall be able to command yourself to do whatever you wish. The real issue as to why you cannot heal yourself, feel good about yourself, or achieve those things that you really want for yourself is because you have very little control of yourself. Your mind does whatever it wants to do. Your body does whatever it wants to do. Your emotions are out of your control. And your own environment acts as if you are not even there. The master of your house is asleep. Wake up, hip hopper. Wake up, hip hopper. Wake up, hip hopper. When you gain control of yourself, you shall tell yourself what to do, where to go, and what to be, and it shall have no choice of its own but to do or go or be that which you have commanded it. But first, you must get control of yourself. Stop. Now, this piece right here, as I started out, by the way, let's go ahead and highlight 47. 47. And let me hit you with this one more time because this sums up the gist of this lesson. Although I do continue, onward. This piece right here. When you gain control of yourself, you shall tell yourself what to do and where to go and what to be, and it shall have no choice of its own but to do or go or be that which you have commanded it. But first, you must get control of yourself. That's the key. The way you get control of yourself is found through the temptations and the four tops and the supremes. Those are singing groups, legendary soul and R&B groups. But anyway, the temptation, actual temptation, being lured into something. This is what depletes your ability to tell yourself what to do. You get sick, tell yourself, heal yourself. The reason you can't is because last week you were tempted, and so now you're weak. You judged yourself because of your own internal weakness. So now you can't heal yourself because you don't have the spiritual currency. Why? Because you self-diminished yourself last week, falling into temptation. But you can use temptation. It comes, resist it, or stand still, or walk away. I'm not doing it. It's not my character. Resist it. You walk away. Now you feel, I have the strength. I did that. I did that. I have control of myself. I proved it to myself. I fasted for a day. Just one day. I didn't eat nothing. Nothing. Next day I ate. I was hungry. I was thirsty. But I just drank water, and that was the food and the drink. Now the next day I sit down to a meal. It's glorious. Why? Because I proved to myself that this meal is not the master over me. I am the master over the meal. I don't sit down to eat because I'm hungry. I sit down to eat because it's a requirement of life. Big difference. Big difference. Other people sit down to eat because I'm hungry. Other people sit down to eat because it's required that I eat. Some people sleep because they're tired. Other people sleep because it's a requirement of my being. It's a requirement of good health. And if you move your life according to the requirements of your life, and not the cravings of your life, you live a better life. That's the lesson for today, y'all. That's it. We're going to pick up next week. And I hope I'm in a more stable situation next week. I know I'm actually not. We got Virginia, Baltimore.
Well, no, that's not next week.
No, not next week.
Next week you're traveling.
I'm traveling next week. We'll figure ourselves out. But big up to Virginia if you out there. I'm coming to you next. We're about to break your back right now. Virginia, Baltimore. Excellent. Last time I was at Baltimore, we made a whole film called Streetlight. Streetlights started right there in Baltimore. Be more. And that's what we're talking about here. Being more. Be more. And then, of course, Atlantic City. I'll be in Atlantic City. So that's the 14th, 15th, 16th. Virginia, the 14th. Baltimore, the 15th. Atlantic City, the 16th. KRS-ONE on those dates. Rocking out, of course, the usual suspects. I think Rakim, Kane, Slick Rick. We're all on these shows sporadically here and there throughout that as well. And that's it. I want to thank you guys for listening. Remember, what this lesson is about. Don't let the environment dictate to you what reality is. Get control of yourself, and you start dictating to the environment what your reality is. Remember, the day is not outside here. The day is in here. Your interpretation of what a Monday or a Wednesday or a Sunday is only in your brain. It's only in your interpretation of what's going on. It's really only one day. And it's two experiences in the one day. And that's light and dark. Sun come out, sun don't come out. That's it. That's it. Now, when you can learn that, when you and learn it, meaning that you adopted that, you got that, you understand it to be a reality, your whole life changes. Your whole life changes. When you become a friend to your future self, this is a technique. It's not just metaphysical. It's not just with the mind, or psychological. It's also physical. Eat right. Drink stuff that's right. If you indulge like I do in wine, I'm not much of a drinker myself, but wine, I will break open a nice glass of whatever. Merlot. I drink red wines mostly. But it could get overboard. it can get overboard, okay? And you got to know when you going overboard and grab hold of yourself. Now, I'm in my 50s, so I grab hold of them. I've been practicing for 30-something years, so it's easy for me to say this to you, but I'm telling you it's not an easy thing. And like I said, I'm only about 80%, okay? I still have to bring that to myself. Sometimes I have to go to a hotel room and just stay in a hotel for 3 days to shirk off some of these temptations, these cravings, these things. To stay there for 3 days, 2 days in a hotel by yourself, prayer, meditation, may bring some books with you, but you're not going to be tempted for 3 days. It gives you strength. It gives you strength, because it's one thing to say I'm not going to be tempted, but everything's around. You tempted you. Everything's there. That's torture. Okay, we're not trying to torture anybody here. Sometimes you have to walk away from tempting environments and get into environments with less temptation, so that you can get your strength up. Then you walk back into the environment with some kind of strength, with some kind of other thing on your mind. So that's the lesson. Be a friend to your future self. Grab hold of yourself. Discipline yourself. Use temptation to those ends. Remember, when it's our time to govern, how are we going to govern? We govern with greed, selfishness, and jealousy, or we governing with mercy, charity, and forgiveness? Well, it's up to you. That's next week, y'all. Son One, close us out. I'm on my way to Malibu Beach.
Hey.
Peace.
There it is. Peace and much love, everybody. I can show y'all how real it is. This trip that happened. Well, first, just to show how in tune for teacher to be talking about that, and my whole experience with old boy, me and Jay Best. Actually, it was the first thing. As soon as we got off, we went to CVS. My man is chilling, lounging too on the ground, and I wasn't messing with him at that time. Now, mind you, I ended up seeing another dude who's out there working, digging in garbage, picking out his bottles, said what's up to me, and this and the third. And I wanted to hook him up, but I also saw that he wasn't asking me for nothing, and it was like I might even almost offend him by saying, "Yo, take this," and he was very serious about his work. At that time, he was like, "Nah, I'm not asking you for nothing." He was just like, "Yo, what up?" I was like, "What up?" He said, did his thing. It was like almost I didn't want to watch him, just sitting there looking at him. So very, very interesting how then this all comes in. We were driving. I had mentioned to Jay Best that we were out there, and the signs that I was seeing as we were getting there, or on our way to the hotel, and I looked up, and one of the signs that was very interesting to me, you could look this up. Apparently, this is on tour. On the left side, it said the Temptations. And on the right side, it said the Righteous Brothers. And these dudes are on tour going across the United States. I just looked it up just to see, because breaking down temptations,
which is on tour.
which is on tour.
And I'm saying not just the group temptation.
Yes.
The actual temptation itself, cravings.
Yes.
Lord,
Oh, yes.
is on tour.
Yes. Yes. That's where you right, and that's where you find it. It's like it's best to be centered, especially on tour. Because, or I would even say it's the divine place where especially a hip hopper is being tested. But so needless to say, now let me back you up for the power of future. When I saw Brother Pascal came to our show that we did at a casino in Connecticut, and we were looking at or taking video, and I was like, "Yo, this is like a set for one of my beats," or because I just throw up the beats and I like to keep it visually looking nice for those because it's just a beat. And so we sitting there, take a little video, things are happening in the video, craziness. All of a sudden, at the right time, perfect time, it looks like we set it up. So I say to him, I was like, yes. I was like, well, I just had a dream. I said, so I was in a crazy place, beautiful. I said, I hope it's real because it's dope. It's like I was on a Hollywood set. And sure enough, you guys will see very soon, we had our gathering, really. It's myself, Jay Bess, Professor AD. We out there chilling, whole entire resort to ourselves. I'm telling you what it is. We went into the restaurant just to get something to eat because we knew we weren't going anywhere. So we just go do this. Restaurant empty. We in there shooting. So I'm over here doing stuff, act like, and whole restaurant with it. He's like, oh, we don't want to interrupt your movie that you got going. It was like, do you want to be in it? He's like, no. But either way, we out there doing it. Then, so restaurant closed, we go outside, ask the dude about the fire pit. Yo, can we get the fire pit? He's like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. Lights the fire pit. Big, huge, chilling. Nobody walking by. Nobody in sight, and it's early, too. Friday night or Thursday night. Nobody. We just out there filming, acting stupid, talking, or building, really. Not acting stupid. No, we was really building on the philosophies and sciences of the mind and the fact of how do we manifest the environment that we're in. And I kept on reflecting within myself. It's like, right, people paid a lot of money, or a lot of money was paid for us to be there, but I had a feeling that those who had paid, or the other guests who had paid to be there, weren't as nearly as appreciative of it as I was, because I didn't expect anything like this to be happening at this time, except for from the dream. So, I mean, but I had no idea when or how it was going to happen. And she just hit me up. This is the last minute. He got hit. Yo, I got asked to go do this. Let's go do this. I'm like, great. And next thing you know, my whole thoughts of being, I had Connecticut mind. And next thing you know, I'm in paradise, living it up and loving and looking like, wow, this is a real part of my life. But these are the things that I would visualize. This is what I've been visualizing. And even, or this, to preach, to teach, to the combination of it all were my visualizations from the gospel of hip hop, and following and not just reading what this said, but no, trying to project myself in for the future. It has to be your imagination. Just picture beautiful things, great times, and then also knowing, right, the way to project back to the old memories has to be the memories that are in your mind. And to me, that makes me believe that there's a reason why you have certain memories of certain times and like the specifics. And it's actually showing proof. Right the day before I came here, my sister had put together a photo album for me from when I was young. And she's like, here, keep this, keep it for your family so that they could check it out. And I noticed that some pictures, I could remember everything. And there are other pictures where I'm like, I don't remember this day at all. But clearly it happened. But obviously I didn't need me then. or I was all right. I could see the picture and now visualize that, but I can't see it like I can see my other memories, which I know now I could use a little encouragement, or even like when I think about my younger self working on music, I had to make a choice, whether it was you do PlayStation, you go outside, or whatever, or decide to work on your craft and do this. And a lot of the times I chose to work on the craft. But now I'm looking back at those memories. I'm like, yeah, no, do that. Because it's going to mean something in your future. That's where a lot of your manifestations are going to come from, your skill and having that. So this is very, very useful and will be absolutely very useful for those of you who are younger, to be able to put this into practice. But those who are even older, rock it now, because again, the fact that you can travel to your past self can get this knowledge from you now and send it back and give little hints. It might not be able to totally understand or why you're getting these thoughts, but odds 10 to 1, it did lead you up to right here and right now. So I just want to give you guys just a little encouragement, or to know that no, this is extremely real, and it's never a boring time. within the temple. Even last night, I turned down the wine. I was like, no, not tonight. Hey, straight up. I said, not tonight. I'm good.
We had a nice bottle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That bottle was right.
See that? But no, my spirit was like, no, not, or you can turn it down. You'll be okay if you don't get the wine. And so I just made that decision. But this is where no self-control. Do you have control of yourself? Can you stop and do things at will? Do you really actually have willpower? And the point is that you do. And you just got to learn how to force yourself. But with that, peace and much love to everybody. We will see you again next Sunday. Same bad time, same bad channel. Peace and much love to all you. I hope you have a wonderful week. Go and check out the Power of Future. You could actually, it's a presentation teacher made back in the day, and it's online on YouTube, of which you can get in a quiet space and listen to this and actually do the exercise where he gives the guided meditation of the Power of Future. So peace and much love to y'all. We out. Yo, check your mic. Let's test these levels.
Check.
Okay, word. We got the sound. Let me know when breaks coming in.
Nah, there's no break. I'm just gonna go straight through.
All right, kick that shit.
Yeah. Heaven sent, I can prove this. Any crowd, turn me up loud, KR will move this. Long before ECE, this MC, he was ruthless. Kicking rhyme, spitting rhyme, written rhyme, freestyle, I do this. Who's this? You don't know me, homie, I'm the one and only. I turn your tool into a toll, tell you owe me. You ain't gotta go to the past to know me, homie. I'm KRS-ONE, my power is now, Atonement. These rappers are bony and lonely. I'll catch them coming out of Shoney's. I don't Oscar or admire, they baloney. No phony, I spit for the time from the mind. So when I spit off the head, of course I'm ahead of my time. Yes, I'm better with rhyme, and it's evident I'm the lyrically benevolent kind. This you never gon' find. I'm spitting plenty medleys, this is work, not a job. Rappers are crying like a boss in reverse, they solve. That's when they get robbed and disappointed. They not anointed, get them set up like an appointment. I spit the same heat you like to joint with. Fire, spit the truth, no liar. Heaven sent, this is higher. The mic cooks, I write books. The heavyweight champion, the song becomes a knockout with the right hook. I'm raw, meaning not cooked. These fake rappers heads are down, cause in the face of KRS they do not look. 40 cal style, rap-a-pum like big drums. When I heat up the club to 420, it's done. Light up the cheech with the chung, I teach when I come. Knowledge reigning supreme, what these rappers speaking is dumb. It's a treat when I come, I'm not I'm turn up for these like I'm the guru, so when my teaching premieres, it's gangstar. Hitting you and your man in the same car. These whack rappers, fuck who they are. KRS is like a hooligan, hitting them all with the same bars. Hooligans, hitting them with the same bars. Your whack style just ain't ours. Venus to Mars, I'm teaching with bars, spitting these bars. But youngins under 21 can't even get into these bars. So, I don't blame them if they not seeing these bars. Cause when I hit them with my universe, all they seeing is stars. Speaking of bars, when I spit one, you can see it's all about impact over an income. The big one, multi-directional and exceptional. 10 of my first 20 albums are all collectibles. You feel the heat when I'm next to you, truly legendary. Underground, undetectable, and revolutionary. Most of what's going on today, you know we knew already. I tried to teach our people, but poverty, it took too many. It shook too many. We can see what a curse is. So I re-emerge to show these youngins who the first is. The minister, frying rap chickens like churches. And the worst is seeing your temperature taken by nurses. IV bags, your family picking out hearses. It's like you at the Barclays Center, you won't survive these verses. Sprite so they were thirsty. Earth is what my turf is.
Hold
KRS-ONE.
up, yo, I got this. Yo, this is about to be fire. Levels is on point. You sound good out here. Let's get this project started.